From the center of the galaxy, live on a Friday, you can hear me sipping water in the back because I forgot to mute my mic. This is ForceCenter, a show about Star Wars, pop culture, old adventure, life itself. I'm Ken Knapsack, live.
I'm Joseph Scrimshaw, and I was in the middle of sighing to process, get rid of the rest of Friday, just as we came on the air.
Yes, we're live today for our monthly kind of big community live stream. We'll be taking calls from our Patreon supporters, so that's going to be fun. And Joseph, we have, I'll make sure I got my merch here. We have a merch-rific topic today.
That's right. We were when we decided that we were able to do the monthly stream this week at the end of the month. We just thought, man, it would be fun to just talk about something fun. And one of the big parts of being a Star Wars fan is a love of merch. If you have way too much, like myself, I say, looking up at my tower of action figures next to me, or if you've only picked out those 3 very special things that mean something to you, it is a part of the love of the galaxy far, far away. So we thought we could all use something fun. So Ken and I will share a couple things, and of course, we would love to hear in the chat any memories that you have of favorite bits of Star Wars merch and why. For our Patreons, we've got the calls set up in Patreon, right, Ken?
We do, which is why I'm changing the background here. Nope, that's not Jen Landa. Jen Landa's out today. There it is. That's the one. Yes. So we got calls. If you're a Patreon supporter, patreon.com/ForceCenter. The post goes up pretty much right when we go live. So you can slide into the studio with StreamYard. We take your audio. So you don't have to be camera ready. Just us beautiful people here today. And then we'll take your merch calls there. All right.
And as always, we are happy to accept any other questions as well. It doesn't have to be about merch, and super chats are lovely. They help us keep things going. Don't need to do super chats. Everybody is having a hard time, and everybody is needing to ask for help these days. So we understand if there's not a flood of super chats, but we always want to mention it.
Yeah, I had I'll say it's an old man moment, but then you realize it's just a moment that we're all living in. I went to the LA Zoo for a little walk and chat with myself, just kind of stroll around, get some writing done maybe. And I passed, they have a new Pink's hot dogs in the zoo. And I was like, no line. Yeah, no line, because usually Pink's down in Hollywood, the line's like 2 hours. The basic hot dog was $16.99. I kept on walking. On walking.
A zoo hot dog, which feels like, I mean, hot dogs are already, there's a lot that you need to put out of your mind to enjoy a hot dog. And it feels like at a zoo, all those things would be put back in my mind.
Yeah. Yes. So, yes, all that to say, I agree with you. The world, state of the world's tough. Man can't even afford a hot dog at the zoo.
Man can't even afford a $17 hot dog. What? Yeah.
There we go.
Michael McCursel says there's no world in which a hot dog should cost double digits. Literally, a hot dog is 1 digit. It's a 1, right? That should be a reminder of how much it would cost.
It wasn't like a Play-Doh dogs. It was one dog, one basic dog. Anyways, not to call out that company. They're just trying to make their money. But anyways, we got merch stories. You want to dive into some of the merch here? The reason I'm not looking at the camera, I'm just looking at the face of one of my merches.
The face of your merch. Yeah, I mean, this is a challenge for us going on all these years to not repeat ourselves too much, because I think people have been with us for a while can probably tell some of our stories for us at this point. So I tried to think of some different things I haven't talked about as much. How about you, Ken? What do you got?
I actually going to start with First, we were right. I literally was like, "Oh, I could tell that." No, I've told that story 15 times on ForceCenter. We can move past it. I'll get it. I think you and I and Jen have been honest about just either we collect less, not by choice, but by maybe money or space, or just focus on other things. I have a little bit of I've got to purge. Who knows? I might move and this and that. So I'm not collecting as much. But recently, I went to a friend's house to help her pack up and get rid of things, and I'm getting rid of things. And then she looked at something. She goes, "Hey, I don't know. We probably can't sell this. Do you want that?" And I said, "Absolutely." And that is my plush Jabba and my plush Sally B. This is what I've been staring at the entire time. It looks like, hello. Remember that behind the scenes video? Anyways, and I just, I could do the whole show like this. And I looked at it.
God.
Looked at it. Oh, that's Bib. But I looked at his face, Joseph, and look at the slobber on this thing.
Yeah,
For
they're
audio
like
listeners.
8 things I like about it immediately.
Right?
Right? It's the
Right.
overall greenness of like, he's not technically green, and yet it makes
Yeah.
perfect sense.
Perfect.
The 3D tongue coming out at you. It's like,
Right?
oh, he's so cute. This is a cute Jabba. Let's look at this cute Jabba and remember the time where he tries to lick Princess Leia in an incredibly upsetting and violating way. Aw, cute.
Yeah. And Sally B, too accurate on his face. But the point of, it's what we all face. As much as I say, look, I just can't afford it, or I'm not as emotionally connected to a lot of the stuff over the last few years as opposed to ones from my childhood, which makes sense. All that stuff. I could talk that big game, Joseph. But if you put something in front of me that strikes that Star Wars heart chord, it's coming home with me. And I cherish this.
Yeah, I understand. I also like Jabba's eyes. It looks like he is very, like he's really been hitting that space hookah he has. Put it that way.
I love it. Yes. The slobber. Anyways, I'm starting the bidding at plush Jabba.
It's very good. I want to share something too, but first I just want to ask you, Ken, you just said you're trying to cut down, but then you see something that speaks to you. What is it about Star Wars and merch that are so connected? Like we know the history of Lucas realized that was an avenue to not only make money, but I think to increase people's connection to the fantasy, to stay in that fantasy world and make up their own stories and all that kind of thing. But for you, at this late date of 2025, what is valuable about the connection between the story and the merch?
It's truly an identity thing, right? We're on this journey as Star Wars fans. And you spoke wonderfully there about a lot of things that we know and can speak about, the connection, the taking it off the screen and putting it in your hands. But it's just like if I see a Han Solo or something, it's like I want that not to just want it, but I want it to just continue the journey, to continue to connect with what it represents to me. And it seems silly and it seems small, but it's not, right? And yeah, where even though I don't display as much on my shelves, I'm looking across at all the ones there. Like, it just means not just so much to me, but it means a lot about how I got here as a Star Wars fan too. Which is why some of the stuff I'll be sharing, like it's stuff from 1983, right? It's a roadmap, and I love having that map.
Yeah, no, I think that's a huge part of it for me. There's all the kind of action figure things of the power of taking them home and continuing the story. There's these ideas of they have this sort of totemic value of the idea is one thing if it's just floating out in the world. It's a different thing if you can hold it in your hands. I look at my Luke action figure from Last Jedi and I think about the creativity with which he solved his problems, and it's a physical manifestation of that idea. Yeah. There's all those things, but with Star Wars in particular, I think it's like this building of meaning on meaning, because when I was a kid, the action figures were this gateway into fantasy in a way that I could take the story home. But then when the action figures started to come back with Power of the Force in the late 90s, early 2000s, that was like, okay, I kind of get to relive my childhood, but also now it's really I'm connected to those memories are connected to my young adulthood. And now when I buy action figures, or merch, it's the connection to Star Wars and what idea in Star Wars is being represented by this. There's this specific memory of what's going on in my life on the day that I bought this and why, who was I with and what was going on. But it's building on all those memories. And part of the joy for me of a new action figure is just those like years and years and layers of an action figure is a joyful thing. And right now, in a time where sometimes joy can be a little hard.
Fleeting.
Fleeting. It's tempting. It's tempting to pick those up. So the one I grabbed some non-action figure merch, but I'm so action figure focused. But this one has an additional layer of meaning in that it has been on my desk for a long time. So I look at it often while we're recording ForceCenter. It is an action figure 2-pack, and it is Sheev and Yoda, their little duel. It's a great Yoda, but it's a really unique Sheev. I don't know if I can quite get him close enough to the camera with enough resolution.
It is. Yeah,
It,
it's good. Yes, that's good.
So Sheev basically frozen in the moment where he is smiling over the glee of the chaos he's inflicting. It's right after my little green friend, and he's just like, oh, it's so beautiful that he's collapsed on the floor. Just this cackling face is so funny to me. So
that is the happiest Palpatine figure I've ever seen.
And I don't look at the back very much. The picture on the back's pretty funny too, of him just chasing Yoda, like Yoda's a cartoon mouse and Sheev's a cartoon cat. You can go and get him.
That's amazing.
The specific context in which I bought this is attached to our shared history. You and I can, but I think like all of the people who enjoy what we do. So I got this in 2014, maybe 2015, not long after I moved to Los Angeles, and we were not in a good place financially, my wife and I was really not buying action figures. I would go to Target at the time, and I would take pictures of them because I couldn't. It's like, all I'm going to do is look at them anyway, so I'll just take a picture and go look at them on my phone. I saw this a couple times and I loved it, and my wife saw me loving it, and then I had been on Jedi Alliance a couple times, but you had emailed me. And for anybody who's newer, Jedi Alliance was a YouTube show that Ken hosted, brought me on as guest. That's how we got to know each other, and then Ken left, and I hosted it for a little while, and it led to ForceCenter. You had emailed me, and you didn't have a co-host or something happened. You're like, can you do 2 or 3 weeks in a row of kind of being the guest? And I was telling Sarah that, and she's like, I think you can buy an action figure. And it's like, but I'm not getting paid for Jedi Alliance. It's not like I got a job. And she's like, but maybe it will lead to a job. So all these years later, we've done what we've done, and we've built up, a life where talking about Star Wars is one of our part-time day jobs. So the prophecy that my wife said of kindly, hey, this guy we barely know, Ken, asking you to do a free YouTube show for a couple weeks will validate financially the purchase of this horrible Sheev action figure paid off. So like I look at it, and it's like, it's all those things. It's a funny moment from the movie. It's why would you make that? But it's so tied to the journey that we've been on.
I love it. I don't think I've heard that full version of the story. That's amazing. Yeah, and I remember that period of time. But and here we are now. Yeah, and you also reminded me of what we earned doing Jedi Alliance, the big fat zero. But we gained this. We gained this. You take those steps to get here, so that's good.
Exactly. Do you want to share more? Or do you want to take some? We're getting some great thoughts. Of what people loved.
I'll show one quick one, then we can go through some comments. We got some calls lined up. We got Will, Alden, Julie. I've talked about this one before, but I don't think I actually have pulled this version out. And I have a lot of what I'm about to show. I have over the years, people have sent me more. I thought maybe you got me one, and maybe that's true, but I know for a fact you got me a new copy of Rusty Miller's trivia book. That I know. That's out in the living room. Yeah. For those who don't know Rusty Miller's trivia book, go look up the history of that wonderful Star Wars thing. And I do mean that. It's wonderful. And it's this. And so this is the Return of the Jedi official collector's edition magazine. And I know I've showed this. We did a show and tell episode here during the beginning stages of the lockdown. But I recently found this. This is the actual one. So I'm going to try to, just in case you can somehow dox me, but that is my handwriting from 1983 and my phone number. Yeah, my phone number. And then I put Ken Napzok number 7. It's hard to see with the light, but I guess I wanted that to be my baseball number. I don't know what. It just says Ken Napzok number 7. But this is mine. This is the actual, looking through it, this is what really deepened my love. And often I've talked about, we talk about the behind the scenes people, and I regret it. You, me, and some other folks had just stepped out of a hotel at Anaheim Celebration 2022, and I looked over and I saw Phil Tippett. You don't want to rush up. You don't want to think it's not the convention floor. I just get, itchy that. But I just wish I got to talk about what he was able to do, because this picture of Phil and the Rancor monster and everything, I was so terrified of this character, but to know that some human was behind it, and at one point he was in it, and I know, that didn't make it to set, but I was so terrified as a little 7-year-old that knowing a human, many humans, but a human named Phil Tippett was behind it, made me less afraid of the character, of the monster. And I could go back to Return of the Jedi with all of my energy and vim and vigor as a kid. So this all comes from this magazine, and I love looking at this is the actual copy. It's held up too.
Yeah, absolutely. Our friend Alex Damon is popping into the chat to tell you, Ken, that the backwards N is the cutest. Also, someone sent that magazine to us, and we just picked it up today. That's so weird.
Oh shit, dude! Sorry, I don't want you to find my folks. Yeah.
Is that still your parents' phone number? Is that why you're guarding it?
Yeah. You don't know the area code. You don't know the area code.
I think some detectives could maybe figure it out from the amount we talk about our private lives. Yeah,
probably. Yeah.
That's hilarious. The Phil Tippett doc, Monsters and Madness, is amazing. People suggest that, and then I forget about it, so I got to write that one down. I've never seen that one.
I've heard that before, and same thing. I keep forgetting about it. But anyways, that's one of the big ones from me. Any more from you? We could talk about that, or we can go to some comments. We got calls. Gonna be a fun 2 hours today.
I'll share one other one. I think one of the things I like about the merch is all the different ways that they fit in our lives. We have the things like you have, like, this has been with me since I was a kid and it's treasured, or there's something that's an expensive collectible now. And one of the things that I like that's a different kind of merch is that thing that just becomes a part of your everyday life because it is functional. And I try to be aware of, like, how many more places do I have room in my life for something that's functional, so I'll see it every day. I don't go right now because I'm too busy, but I used to go to Dragon Con all the time and have many, many fond memories over the years. Some wonderful time hanging out with Alex and Molly and all sorts of different friends. A friend of the show, Hal Lublin, and Ken Plume is the one who brought me to Dragon Con. It's the reason I met him. By a string of coincidences. It's why you play Fortnite so much, Ken.
Actually. Thanks for that.
You're welcome. So Dragon Con's always a fond memory. When I was there, I would do a ton of shows. There's like 1 year I did like 18 shows and panels in like 3.5 days. And on Sunday, I would run to their dealer's building, which is just like it's like a meat market, mostly full of Funko Pops and sweat. But I go in there and look for something unique. And there was 1 year that there was a person selling their handmade coasters. And I'm a big cocktail person, so I got a coaster for you and for Jen and for my wife. And I got this one for myself, the Jedi symbol coaster. Blue is my favorite color. It's this beautiful marbled blue. And I have drank an obscene number of cocktails and taken photos of it while sitting on this guy on my coffee table. So I like the kind of merch that's it's a part of our daily lives, and you see it, you think about it, Star Wars stays with you.
I love the one you got me. You had it's a Biker Scout logo on it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I ever told you, I accidentally broke it down the middle. Like, I put a drink down too hard. I was probably mad at Fortnite, so we can blame Plume. And it cracked down the middle. And like it was some myth, the Force cracked, the dark and the light. And I was so bummed because it's a pretty unique, yes, you can find coasters anywhere, but I don't know. It was pretty unique. It was Biker Scout, and plus you got it for me. So I was bummed. So I just kind of kept it on the coffee table broken, and I would just push it together when I'd use it, but I couldn't move it. And, my now former partner, Grace, was like, it just drove her OCD a little crazy, but she glued it back together, and it's just like new. So it's perfect. I use it all the time out in the living room. So
it's like Kylo Ren's helmet. It's better with a crack in it. Yeah,
it's exactly what she did. She was a little Sith monkey. Just
yeah. Oh my gosh, I like that as a prophecy He who can reunite the Biker Scout coaster shall unite the world.
Oh, love that there. Some questions and comments coming in. We love that. Laser Bowl. Check out Laser Bowl videos. Wonderful channels. He's got a great, relaxing Friday night flights where he takes a flight simulator ride around the world. It's great. Celebration Chicago. All I bought was a bunch of, quote, the art of books, and a giant TIE pilot action figure. Every time I see them, it reminds me of the best vacation of my life. Where Laser Bowl will tell us, Joseph, he met you and I apparently made fun of his mustache, and I don't recall that. I do make fun of mustaches, but I don't recall that.
It's a blur. It's a little bit of a blur. It's wonderful to meet everybody. Yeah, should we do you have another one you want to share, or should we take a look at some of what other people are sharing?
Yeah, no, let's maybe take some calls, but I stumbled onto this beauty. I have this in my collection.
Oh, damn.
It's in pretty good shape too. I have a bunch of cleaning out a drawer when the living situation was changing. I pulled out a drawer. I knew I had stuff in there, but it's all my. I'll try to. Oh, man, I won't go through it all, but it's all my like Phantom Menace era magazines and stuff, and Attack of the Clones and everything.
Nice.
So yeah, so it's like it's. Ooh, look at that one. Woo. Look at that.
That's an Entertainment Weekly?
Yeah, Entertainment Weekly.
Oh, that one's, oh my Lord.
You know,
Obi-Wan.
Some of them might be priced to go.
Well, yeah, tell me before you get rid of that one.
And then this is still in, and this actually sells for, not that I'm looking to sell everything, but like I looked it up. This is the Vanity Fair in the plastic wrapping. That's good. That's a good eBay price.
I remember walking into a place called Schindler's in downtown Minneapolis and seeing that, and that magazine on the stand, and that was the first time I saw Jar Jar.
Yeah,
that's when I first met.
Yeah, so this is quite and talking about the journey and looking back, and yes, it takes me back to '99 and '02. I also have a Britney Spears Rolling Stone. We'll talk about that on another show. A lot of things in here. And all the Premiere magazines and everything. And that is talking about a roadmap. That is fun to go back.
Yeah, the people are demanding it. We want to see the Britney one too.
I keep talking about, I'll try to, I used to have a Rolling Stone subscription, so this looks really bad. But people don't understand the pop culture moment her two covers were. And I'm not saying for good reasons. But like, I think you young kids without your magazine subscriptions do not realize what that did. That was a conversation starter for a long time.
Yeah, no,
it still is. It still is.
It's much going on with Britney Spears. Obviously she is a human being first, but the way that the world reacted to her, her coming of age, to judging her behavior, to all that.
So I have like that one. I have Letterman. I have Conan. Like I was one of those Rolling Stone covers or pieces of art Gen Xers. So I have a ton over here as well.
Can you show us the Jar Jar one again?
Yes.
I don't know if Brian Ward is with us today, but I would like Brian Ward to take this Jar Jar cover and then put the Britney Spears cover in his hand. So that's the one. That's the Rolling Stone that Jar Jar is reading. I think that would be great.
Yeah, Plume wants me to show you all your Maxim issues. I did get rid of those ones. I used to have the sign of the early 2000s. I had Rolling Stone, Entertainment Weekly, Premiere, For Him magazine, Maxim magazine. Like that was just the dumb life I led in the early 2000s.
Yep. All right. Should we take a couple super chats? A couple.
Questions? We got some calls lined up here. We got our first super chat of the day from Brennan at Page Turners. They were not. Thank you, Brennan. Very generous. My favorite Star Wars merch memory is all the Star Wars micro machines I had when I was a kid, but parents still keep them, and now my nephews and nieces play with them. That is wonderful, not just for having them, but be able to pass them on, which is part of this too.
That is such a great legacy. Micro machines were great. I never collected those because I didn't have room with my action figures. But I know there's a big deal for a lot of people. Cool that they could be passed on and actually played with.
No, that's great, Brennan. There, love that. Bigger morality question to start the proceedings from Igor the Mad. How do you reconcile the series condemning possessions and corporate greed, yet being prompted by consumerism? Not judging. We all love merch. Yeah,
Hmm.
you and I've talked about that somewhat in the past, right? Even Lucas didn't start a nonprofit, but it
Yeah.
is the dance. It is the dance.
Hmm. Yeah. No, I got a stand-up joke about it, and I think I posted on social media. Of like, I love the Jedi because they care only about, people and emotions, not the possession of things, which is why I have 100 action figures of them. Um, yeah, I mean, I think for me, I think there are contradictions in Star Wars, and I think part of it is what makes it very human and stems from George Lucas. And I think even, the title, like we've talked about, it's called Star Wars, and the lesson is generally pacifism, but the wars are fun and thrilling to watch, and
Yeah.
fun and thrilling story to tell. Um, so I do think there are just some contradictions in Star Wars. I don't think that the message of Star Wars is that possession is bad. I think it is a specific belief of the Jedi, um, that it's for their general philosophy. And I think the idea of and it isn't even possession, it's attachment.
Hmm.
I've
Hmm.
been thinking about this more lately. Like, it is attachment that's forbidden. So if my apartment was on fire and Ken happened to be here visiting me, and I was like, Ken's got to burn because I'm getting all my action figures out. That's the problem.
Right.
The inability to let go is the problem. And I think for myself with my own merch, I try to really, in the action figures in particular, I go in phases where I get too many. Um,
Hmm.
and I think I always try to come back to what do they mean to me? What do they matter to me? And basically just kind of check myself of, to me, they are these totems of meaning, like we've talked about, but they're also like pieces of art. I like displaying them like they're art, like they're paintings. That's why I keep
Yeah.
them in the package, because the package is a part of the art to
Hmm.
me. And check myself that I'm not like, oh, I'm only getting them because I'm depressed, or I'm being sort of a completionist and I don't really want this action figure, but you know, so I try to just watch out for, is it ever crossing into a point where it is not joyful, then when it's wrong for me.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's hard. Even when I, started selling some stuff, anything that I've sold has been Star Wars merch that I've purchased in the last 10 years, right? So during this golden age. And I found it difficult at first because, as much as I don't necessarily need a Jyn Erso Funko Pop, I do remember 2016 and going to see it and talking about it with you and Jennifer, and what it represented, and the hope of the franchise reborn, all this stuff. So I do have attachments to it, and it's hard. It's always hard. I couldn't sell that magazine with my name on the inside. I think you can bury me with
Hmm.
that, but yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. I'll save you in a fire. I'll save you, Joseph. Don't worry.
And as who said this? Somebody's pointing out Amaranth, but Ken is another set of hands to rescue figures with.
Yes. Oh
Yes.
yeah. Oh, if we're in your apartment and if I'm helping you, buddy. I'm clearing that lava table. I'm taking all that stuff off.
Yeah. I mean, I've got my Obi-Wan over here from Revenge of the Sith, which is, I only bought 2 action figures from Revenge of the Sith because that was a time where I really needed
Mhm.
to save money, and I had gone a little overboard with the action figures, and in that sometimes what's important to those is those eras where it's like, I really only can have one for a while, and prove to myself
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is a doable. Yeah,
Exactly.
I'll also say about the merch thing of like, yeah, it was a brilliant stroke from Lucas, not only financially but also in building the relationship with it. And it's
Yeah.
something that I've been thinking about a lot as I try to finish work on this film. Streaming is great. Everything digital, Kindles where you can read books on a plane and nobody bugs you because they don't know what book it is. Those things are great. But there is something lost when something doesn't physically exist and you can't interact with it. And I'm starting to feel even more strongly about that it is something different when it is physical, real, tactile, that it changes our relationship with it. You know, I have there's some fonts I love because an early VHS version of Star Wars used that font. and my love of Star Wars transferred to a random love of a font. And sometimes like I'm at the doctor's office and like everything else sucks, but look at this font. It reminds me of the VHS of Empire Strikes Back. And like, that's all because of a physical, real thing that existed in the world. And that's valuable.
Yeah, look, I'm someone who, I have all the streaming music services and I use them to fuel my radio show, and it's easier than lugging around and boxes of CDs, and I don't have the computer space, time, or energy to transfer them to make an MP3 collection. But I started to find myself like even some of my favorite new bands, like I don't even know what their albums are, right? I can't remember, like was that on Haim's third album or second? I don't know. It comes up on my Apple. But I pulled out about 30 CDs. I was at my storage bin and I got a little record player combo set up right now. And I'm just listening to albums again. I'm just putting on CDs and LPs and just listening to track one to the end of the track. And it is a different experience for sure.
Getting up and flipping it, and they used to be built differently to have a side A arc and a side B arc, and
there you go. All right, should we take some calls? Well, we got some folks here.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, first call into the day. He's I just spent 2 hours talking to him this morning on our show Anytime. It looks like he did not get up from his desk. So Alden Diaz is here, also host of Octo Radio. How you doing, buddy?
Hello, my friend. You are correct. Well, I did refill my coffee, but spiritually, I was here at the desk the entire time. Love I force projected myself to the coffee maker.
That's all you need. What's your merch stories? You're a youngster. You don't buy
I am
merch.
a youngster. Look, there are so many of us out here, guys, that would love to buy more, but we had the misfortune of being born, in my case, in 95. So I am cursed to live in a time when, as Joseph, as you well know, that Rise of Skywalker moment when there was not the full, loadout of 3 3/4, and it shared a line with Mando and Fallen Order, and like that was kind of the death knell. Not want to say death knell. I mean, there's still merch, but it was a turning point. Quick Joseph specific aside that I've said about you to other people, but I don't think I've ever said to you, is that watching you figure shop in Anaheim 2022 for about 10 minutes was like watching an Olympian in their sport. It was a thing of beauty. I tell people, I'm like, if you are ever privileged enough to be on the floor while Joseph is like, I need to find someone from Jabba's palace, like lock in, just follow him. Just shut up and follow.
What does it look like? I know what it feels like from the inside. What does it look like from the outside? Is it shark-like? Is it terrifying? Is it?
Yeah, it's sort of like Indiana Jonesy. Like you're looking through each one like as if you're like, oh, the penitent man. Like you're really like focused and like moving through each one, and like the levels. There's a lot of crouching. You gotta have your knees right when you're doing intense figure shopping. But for my personal story, I want to throw it back to what I think is the greatest figure line of all time. Which is the 30th anniversary, 07-08, which is just like so special. That was being like I said, born in 95. My first one in theater is Clones. So by 07-08, I'm like, I got an Xbox. I'm like in middle school, Dark Knight is there. So like we're all really plugged into pop culture. And this line, as we know, and if you don't know, if you're listening, had everything. And when I say everything, I mean, as I will talk about in a second, specific like Tartakovsky Clone Wars looks of people you love, like so deep. And I had some of them back then. Then you grow up, life happens. During the pandemic lockdown, so work from home, no vaccines, like still like kind of not sure what things are going to look like. I was really depressed. Person I was living with at the time, she came into the room one day and she found me with just the glow of a computer screen on my face. Like, she's like, what are you doing? And I said, I'm reconnecting with some things that I need. And she was like, I don't know what that means, but go off, I guess. Flash forward a few days. And
that old Rolling Stone covers. Yeah.
I was buying the Jar Jar Rolling Stone. And I ordered specifically, this is Tartakovsky, so I got the Nelvon Arc Anakin. You guys will see.
Oh,
Oh yeah, that's the
yeah.
Jedi Trials Anakin, right?
Yeah.
The Jedi
Topless
Trials,
blue tattoo.
blue,
Anakin,
the blue tattoo when he saved all of the Nelvanians, I guess, that were turned into these cyborgs, and it's like this moment of solidarity that they are all cyborgs, and it's sort of like it was George and them playing with the how aware is he of his own Vader fate before they revisited that in a canon way with Mortis. Amazing figure. It's probably my favorite part of that show. And then also from that show is one of my favorite Glup Shittos, who was recanonized in a lightsaber reference book, so he is canon again. That is Roran Korab.
Oh yeah,
who helped fight in the Battle of Coruscant. He's part of that great troop of Glup Jedi. I reacquired these, didn't open them, just wanted to have them around. They were kind of like morale boosters. They came with these amazing silver coins. And this figure line, I think I said this to Ken Plume once, like I will scroll through the figure line on like Galactic figures. I think they're Galactic figures now, right? They used to be Jedi business.
Yeah, Jedi Galactic figures,
Yeah. And I'll scroll through the page like a soldier in the trenches looking at a picture of his wife. Like I will look at this page and be like, I have to get back there somehow. But alas, there is no time travel, and there'll probably never be a line like this again. But it was the best. And Rich Rodriguez in the comments says, named after Ron Cobb. Yes, the great Ron Cobb.
Yeah. That 30th anniversary, that was in an era where I wasn't collecting, both financially and trying to contain myself. And that was probably good, because now I've gone back and recollected a lot of them. Those are some of the ones that I think what you're talking about, when you were watching me hunt at Anaheim, I was looking for Hermiodal.
Yes,
the 30th anniversary, and weighs about 18 pounds.
Yeah, he does. Absurd. Yeah, they were so liberal with like the amount of plastic that they were using.
It's like the height of what I loved about the action figures, of a mix of like they're cool figures, but they're sort of like weird. Why would you ever make that? And not afraid. Everything from like that really badass Anakin to not be afraid of being dumb with the Hermiodal there, with the meat tongue hanging out. Just his tongue weighs more than most action figures. And just such a we're going to celebrate Star Wars 30th anniversary not by making another what's the best New Hope solo we can make, but what's some of the weirdest crap that almost like a dare. The 30th anniversary line is like a dare, like that. The Han Solo in the torture rack I have on my coffee table too. It's like,
and it's like I wish that fans. This is probably the oldest that I've ever sounded. I wish that fans now that are new could have an equivalent. Like they could understand. Like I would love to explain to them, like, if this line was made with the same, if they made a line now with the same attitude of like a dare, you would get like Neil's French girlfriend from episode 4 Skeleton Crew. You would get like not just BD1, you would get the other BD that lives in Pelly's shop. You would get things that like whoever you've grabbed onto in the last 10 plus years, they'd be there. There would be a Lando with puffer pigs, like 3-pack. We'd be so blessed.
Trying to remember the character's name, but Ewan McGregor's daughter who tries to sell him drugs.
Yes.
They're all someone's daughter here, sir.
Oh man, so good.
Joseph, I think in Chicago 2019, you were on the hunt, and I was blessed to witness that. But didn't you get was that the Obi-Wan holding baby Luke?
Yeah, and that's the one that I just escaped my attention, and that was one of the beauties of I just discovered it. I just saw it, and I was like, I have to have it. Because it's like I'd long adored like any Luke Skywalker action figure, period. But the ones that were ridiculous were my favorite. Like I bought 2 when they made him of Bacta Tank Luke, because it's like this is just Mark Hamill in a diaper. Then when they saw they had baby. And they didn't redo Obi-Wan's arms to hold a baby, so he's got his little Lego hands out, just kind of balancing Luke on his forearms. Beautiful.
Oh, and by the way, quick aside, that baby graduated this past week.
Amazing.
Yeah, I saw that in the news, so that'll be the last thing that I throw out there. Little baby related Star Wars news.
There it is. There it is. Well, great shares. Very popular in the chat. Get back to work, my friend. And
I'm gonna work on something.
There you go. Alden Diaz, everybody.
Thanks,
Check
Alden.
out Octo Radio. It's coming back. He's got a new show. We got some more calls. And by the way, if you are out there and you're a Patreon supporter, head on in there. About 2 o'clock our time, the link went live, so you can jump in here like Alden did. And we got calls from Will and Julie next. If you're ready for those, or we can go through. We've got comments coming in.
Yeah, we got some comments. We got some super chats. Let's grab one of the other super chats here. Our friend Ken Bloom, and thank you, says, "What was the first Star Wars merch you mailed away for?" Well, for me, Ken, it wasn't. It was a learning experience about the cruelty of capitalism. So this is the Empire Strike Back era. And all of the cards backs for a while were advertising. I can't remember how many you needed to collect, but then you send them in, and you'd get this bonus pack of accessories from Empire Strikes Back, including in particular the masks that they put on in the Exegorth's belly. Can't remember what else came up with it because we were obsessed with wanting those masks. Because at the time, like that kind of stuff comes with action figures all the time. But it's like an accessory that isn't a blaster or a lightsaber. How wild! And, you know, we collected, and I think we really had to bug our parents of like, yeah, we don't really need Zuckuss as an action figure, but we need another figure this week so we can send it away, which is why I think I have technically 4LOM, but he was called Zuckuss incorrectly on the card. And we waited months. This is totally, I walked it 2 ways in the snow kind of story.
The best.
But we waited what seemed like 1,000 years, but it's probably like a month. And we just got a letter from Hasbro sending us the cutout cards back and saying a letter that's basically, sorry, we ran out. Thanks for loving Star Wars. And no like offer to do something different or fix it or wait 6 months. It's just like, sorry, kid, you weren't fast enough.
You weren't that good of a fan. You didn't get these proof of purchases. That's wow. Okay. So that was first priority, but you didn't get it. But you got the Zuckuss 4-Lob. We got that one. Okay. The first Star Wars mail away merch I got definitely was Palpatine. I think I had the mail away for that. I remember it coming in the little tiny box, 6 to 8 weeks. Right, it's the longest period of time in your life. And I think that might be the only Star Wars one I did. I did some G.I. Joe ones. I had like a little windsurfer that I mailed away for, a little exclusive G.I. Joe windsurfer with a rocket launcher on it, because why not? May have had some of that, but I think that was the only Star Wars mail away was Palpatine. Gotta have Palpatine.
Yeah, we got Anakin Skywalker for Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
I did a couple of the Power of the Force era sendaways as well. The hologram Obi-Wan that I think you need to eat Lay's chips for.
Yes. Yes. Alex,
there we go.
I mailed away for Stormtrooper Disguise, Han Solo, and Force Ghost Obi-Wan. Yeah, a little bit later, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think they do that anymore. I suppose they don't
do they
want to encourage fans to cut up the. I don't know. Yeah.
Or
anyway.
yeah, I mean, it's because they definitely would want to encourage fans to buy more things, right? It's more. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. All those little things are lost. Yeah. A little bit. Oh, good. Punch him. I'm not alone. He had the G.I. Joe windsurfer too. It's just this little windsurfer thing that you could put your Joes on. Love that there. Great question, Ken. Share yours out there too.
This comes to us from M.A. Flinner, but an important question to ask about action figures. How often did you have Leia and Luke action figures kissing before Empire Strikes Back? I wouldn't. Return of the Jedi, so you knew.
Yes, I knew. I would not have done that. Yeah, but I did do things. You know, I had a love triangle going between Major Blood, Destro, and Baroness and G.I. Joe. You know. I didn't know what that meant, but I had it going.
Yeah. It was the before Return of the Jedi, the Luke Han competition of is you gonna like Luke or Han, and my brother was Han and I was Luke, so I was big on no. And I owned all the Leia action figures. My brother didn't get Leia action figures, so I was able to make that decision. So I think Luke and Leia probably did kiss a couple times, and then she also did have the affair with the Cloud Car pilot, as I've talked about before.
Perhaps one of the greatest ForceCenter lore stories, which should be turned into a short animated film.
Yeah. And technically, she didn't have an affair. The Cloud Car pilot asked her out, and she rejected him. I was working through some things. Another thing that action figures are.
Love that. Love that. Beautiful stuff there. We got a call here from Will. Will, check it in. Will, welcome back to the show. Share your favorite merch memories, my friend.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Sure can.
Well, my head is swimming now because I wasn't prepared for talk of Hermie Yodel and Roran Karab and Baby Luke's and all this, so I'm off my game.
You're right. You're on it. You're on.
Well, I was thinking about the question, and I think as a kid, it was the search for Walrus Man specifically was a problem. That was my only like old school Kenner memory. I used to go and get a figure after I go to the doctor, and if I got the shot and not the antibiotics, I could go to Kmart and get a figure. So I'm, I don't know what kind of what that says about my collection and the pain.
I know. Do we all? I mean, I know there's probably newer versions for that for newer generations of kids. Like my Tamagotchi got taken, or I got a Tamagotchi. But it's so true. I remember getting in the car and from a doctor's appointment, and like a G.I. Joe figure was sitting there for me, like Tunnel Rat. I think is how I got Tunnel Rat, because I went and was brave at the doctor's office. That's amazing.
I would have been trying to get a shot all the time. Like, you got any more of those shots for me, doctor? Anything else?
That's kind of how it was. I did get strep a ton, and I don't know if there was some kind of weird connection between, I can get an action figure out of this.
He's doing this on purpose. I think, honey, he's doing this on purpose.
Running down the stairs. My throat hurts. My throat hurts. Yay!
Pretty much. As far as the modern era, when my son was born in 2010, so by the time Force Awakens rolled around, he was of age to get him involved in the movies and everything. And so I slowly went away from figures for a long time. Slowly, I'll just get the major characters. I'll get Kylo, and I'll get Rey, and I'll get Finn. Well, as Joseph knows, that quickly spiraled out of control when it became everybody from the line. I just need to have these because we don't have this guy. So by the time Last Jedi rolls around and it's Force Friday 2, there I am at Target at 12 a.m. for the open the doors to get all the new stuff. Kind of event they had, and when I walk in, they hand us a raffle ticket that's like a we're gonna do a drawing at the end of this, and I take it. Really, I'm there to get the BB-8 2-in-1 mega play set that would, like, BB-8 would open up into Snoke's throne room.
Yeah.
And this is one of the finest purchases I ever made for my son, because it ended up being the backdrop of a lot of like stop motion animations he would do with the clones and all. It was this wonderful thing, and it's survived well. But so I go and I get this thing, which was overpriced as hell, and I'm hauling it out of to the register with all my other Last Jedi gear, and I get there, check out, and then the lady's like, well, you need to go back and see, because I think they're doing that drawing thing in the back of the store. So I'm like, well, I don't really need it, but okay, I'll go back and check. So I walk back there, and they're looking around for who the winner is of this one number they announced. And so, of course, I pull out my thing out of my pocket, and I look, and it's, I have the winning number. Oh, well, congratulations, sir. You won the raffle. And they proceed to present me with a porg that is the size of a Starkiller base.
Yes.
It's in a giant plastic bag, and I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do with this? And I'm 6'2", and so I'm Santa Claus carrying this thing out of the store. Like, I'm going to win Christmas. There's no question about that now. We have the Snoke playset, and I have a porg that you can sleep on.
Yeah.
And I just remember looking over to the other winner, who was probably 5'5", 5'4", and it looks like she is it's raining, and it looks like she's in a kaiju fight with this board that's engulfing her, trying to stuff it into her minivan. And I just remember thinking, God bless us, if this isn't Star Wars, then what is? Go get eaten by a kaiju porg and enjoy your day.
Where's this porg now?
I'm trying to get it to Jennifer Landa. I'm trying to guilt her into accepting it for her kids. Or if Alex and Molly are still in the chat, it would be a wonderful backdrop for your shows. It is in my bedroom right now because I don't have the heart to put it in the attic.
Right.
It's in great shape, but it is still 48 inches tall and so and so wide. And I need to move it somewhere to a home that has small children now that can love it like it was loved at our home.
Here's what I think we should do: is I think somehow one of us should get a hold of it, and I think every episode we should set up a camera on it, like it's the fourth contributor to ForceCenter, and then we just never acknowledge it. It's just there.
Love that. I'm game. It'd be a sidekick. Yeah. That's a tough. That'd be tough to get rid of, but you might have to, right? It's so big.
Yeah.
If it's a Facebook Marketplace, is my best bet, I guess, because it's not. The shipping would cost a zillion, but
might as well drive it out here. Amazing. Well, Will, appreciate those memories.
Absolutely, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Right. Thanks, Will.
I almost got that BB-8 Snoke playset so many times. Last Jedi. Last Jedi did such a great job. I know some people don't like the 5 points of articulation, but they just did such a great job of they put out all the main characters right away with no weird non-canon arm cannons like they did for Force Awakens and Rogue One. It was just the characters with the accessories they should have. Full complement of vehicles. You had the Resistance ski speeder right away. You had the Canto Bight Police. You had a playset. And it was just, to me, it's a little bit of a tragedy because I absolutely love The Last Jedi. I'm not criticizing The Last Jedi, but it isn't as much of a, hey, kids, do you want to play Depressed Luke, on the playground? It's not as toy-friendly as other Star Wars films.
Yeah,
and they did such an amazing job with the toy line, and it will always sadden me. I wanted to share this from Sergeant Fubar. The Rise of Skywalker is probably the single most inherently toyetic Star Wars movie, and it kills me how few figures were made from it. I really agree with that. I know there are people who don't like Rise of Skywalker, but I also feel like, man, if you did that Last Jedi line with that quality for the Rise of Skywalker, and the big playset was the Sith arena on Exegol, oh man, that'd been heaven.
No, I agree. I get it. We've had all the conversations of the industry changing and all that good stuff, but it's still a loss. And I agree on The Last Jedi too. Especially, I remember having that exchange. We had already seen it, and our friend Joe Starr was posted something about how he was super excited for Paige Tico because he had seen the action figure, and I just remember, oh, buddy, oh no,
nope, ain't happening.
Great stuff. If you guys out there want to call in, we got Julie calling in next. If you're Patreon supporters at patreon.com/ForceCenter, you can head over there and find the link to call in. Check in with some of the other comments. Brent Bum standing by says, I have a Power of the Force 2 R2-D2 that somehow stayed with me from childhood. When I moved across Canada, I found him in the bottom of a box for the life of me. I can't remember packing him. That is the Force. Love that. And even our thumbnail today is your Yoda, right?
Yep. Who is right here. He's been with me my entire life since the very early 80s. Right here.
Love that.
Hard orange snake, cane and everything. Got his belt. Got it all.
Snake.
Thanks, buddy.
And I love it. And some of it very intentional, right? But also just the ones that have stayed. That's why I have the AT-AT commander figure that maybe would have been Veer's in another parallel universe, but that just happened to stay with me. It just happened to be in the Y-wing that I didn't sell at the garage sale once you got rid of all my toys, and then it just happened to find its way to LA with me. I still have it. It's on the shelf. Not intentionally. The Force at work.
Yeah.
And all that. It's almost maybe even more connected to the figure. Amaranth has a super chat. If you're close to Kansas City, the National Museum of Toys and Miniatures is a great exhibit of the first run Kenner toys. It'll be up until January. ForceCenter field trip. We've got 6 months to do. Love that.
Oh, man. I want to share this from Gaz Nottingham. I tried to buy a Rise of Skywalker 3 3/4 figure for my daughter. Scalpers were reselling over 50 pounds back in 2020. Crazy popular figure character. Don't let anyone fool you. Yeah, the limited amount of figures that they made for Rise of Skywalker in the vintage line were really popular. I got really lucky to get a Rey. I got a Rey and a Sith Trooper. I remember that day, that Force Friday, really well. I was lucky to have a pitch meeting, and I was rushing through a pitch meeting to try to sell a television show, to be like, I gotta buy some action figures. It'd be nice if you bought my television show, but I need to buy some action figures. And it was a ForceCenter friend who sent me the Night of Ren. Otherwise, I never would have found him in a store. Never. So yeah, it is really frustrating that there is demand.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe one day. Laserbolt says, I buy very little merch, but as I look around, I'm realizing most of all my current Star Wars stuff was given to me, making it even more meaningful. Yeah. That always remains true. Whether it's sent, we were fortunate when we did a lot of those Star Wars ranked episodes on figures. We received some from ForceCenter friends out there in the audience. Yeah. Shout out to First Rate Nate, who did some deep diving on some real hard ones. We're always blessed with that. But it means more, which might be, yeah. A lot of, I look at my massive amount of Funko Pops. I loved them. I think they're little boxes of art. Like I totally was. I wasn't. Naive that, I was going to get rich off these hunks of plastic, but I wasn't as connected to them as the things that we've received over the years, because you loved it, you talked about it, and expressed your love for it.
No, very, very lucky for that.
All right, we got a call here from Julie. Julie, check it in. We're happy to have you here, Julie.
It's good to be here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you wonderfully.
Good. This is my first time calling in. Love you guys. Been listening to you for about a year now.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, we're blessed to have you here.
Found out about you guys through Star Wars Explained. And
they're all right.
Well, you're asking about merch. My first exposure to Star Wars was in the 80s. I'm a Gen Xer. And I went over to my friend's house to play. And she had an older brother, and he had the Millennium Falcon. He had all the figurines, and I was from a family of all girls. So I didn't even know the guys had figurines. I knew the girls had Barbies, but I didn't know guys. Yeah. And he had them all, and I was quite impressed with his toy collection. That was my first exposure to Star Wars. And wasn't through the movie, it was through the merch. Yeah. And a friend. And then my first time ever watching Star Wars was special editions in the theaters in the 90s.
Wow.
This is a great journey.
Standing in line, long line, I remember, and I couldn't figure out these crazy people dressed up. And then I wouldn't say I became a Star Wars fan until I got married. And my husband loved Star Wars. We got Disney Plus. He was excited about The Mandalorian, Boba Fett. He's trying to explain who this Boba Fett was. I could not comprehend. And the whole Mandalorian did not make sense. I didn't remember any of them from the movies. So I decided I needed to beef up my knowledge so that I could relate to my husband. So I got on Star Wars Explained.
Oh, that's amazing.
Started listening to them, and then found you guys. And then my husband told me about this Ahsoka character, the TV show. And so that's what got me hooked, was Ahsoka.
Wow.
And it was Ahsoka in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And Anakin, because I did not like Anakin in the prequels. And
well,
I was,
he does some things.
Hating the prequels.
Yeah.
And I just was like, and then I saw the Clone Wars, and I absolutely fell in love with Anakin and Obi-Wan and Ahsoka. And I just wanted more and more Star Wars. And then I started reading the books. So my merch collection as a movie Star Wars fan is I'm collecting all the I can't even get the name, the High Republic books.
Yeah.
Absolutely falling in love with the High Republic books. And now my husband asks me questions.
See, look at that.
He's like, you're way more of a Star Wars fan. I'm like, I only did it because I wanted to relate to you.
I want to talk to you.
Now the circle is complete.
Yeah, Molly Davis in chat says, oh, yeah, absolutely. I love this journey, Julie. I love this journey of growing up. So you obviously knew Star Wars as a pop culture thing from the figures on. did when you saw the special editions, what was your reaction then? Just like, all right, cool, I got it or understood it, but then moved on. I'm fascinated with this late blooming Star Wars journey. This is great.
I had a couple girlfriends in college
Mhm.
that loved Star Wars. That was the first time I really ever heard of girls liking Star Wars, and it wasn't
Mm.
until
Ah.
college. I guess they came out
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
Star Wars fans. So it
Yeah.
started to be okay for
Mhm.
girls to come out saying that they love Star Wars, and I saw that
Yeah.
during the special editions time.
Love
And
it.
I watched it and I was like, okay. And
Mhm.
I knew about, just through pop culture, I
Mm.
knew about this Yoda character and Vader, but I didn't really understand
Mm.
any of the Star
Yeah.
Wars stuff. And then in the 90s, after the special editions, the person I was dating at the time, we watched the prequels. I was not impressed, but I wasn't really a Star Wars fan. I didn't get it.
Mhm.
I didn't get it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until, God forbid I say, the Disney era
Imagine
that
that.
I fell in love with Star Wars. And
Yeah.
so
Yep. It's
um,
great. I love that journey.
it-
Now we
the
Oh, sorry.
animation
Yeah.
hooked me.
and the
So-
animation.
Do you think part of that is just getting to spend more time with the characters? I mean, the Clone Wars gives you really time to bond with them. Was that a factor for you?
Yeah, I totally, like, I was like, Anakin, he's amazing. I just loved Anakin in the Clone Wars, and just having that fuller picture of
Mhm.
who
Yeah.
he was, and then to have an Ahsoka character that I felt like I could relate to as a woman.
Mhm.
And I love Asajj Ventress. There was just more and more female characters in Star Wars.
Mhm.
And now those are like all my favorite. I do have a Funko Pop of
Mhm.
Sabine Wren
Oh,
and
wonderful.
Ahsoka.
Nice.
And so,
So
yeah.
the big question I have for you, Julie, this is wonderful. The audience is loving your journey here too. You didn't like Anakin. Prequel angst aside from Gen X, you didn't like Anakin. He does some mean things in the prequels, but then you fall in love with this character along with Obi-Wan and Ahsoka. How did that change your interaction with the prequels and Anakin specifically? Did you understand him more, or were you more mad at him? You're like, you could have had it all, kid, but you lost it. Like, what was your return journey to the prequels like?
Oh, I appreciate the prequels. I'm like, told my
Mhm.
husband we have to buy the actual copies of all the movies.
Love that.
And I just saw, Revenge of the Sith in the theater. It was just amazing. Loved it. Loved seeing Anakin now, at the beginning of it.
Yeah.
He's our age. He's a Gen Xer. And so
Yeah.
I just was like, oh, man. And then watching the ILM and seeing the story of Ahmet Best, I'm like, just feeling bad about how much I used to just tease my ex-boyfriend about Star Wars because of Jar Jar Binks and all of that. So I think just getting the background information just helped me appreciate the characters a lot more, and even in the movies now.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I mean, I think, all the films are a product of their time in terms of technology, but a lot of times they feel out of time in terms of like the story they're telling and the way they're telling it. It's weird if you sat down and watched a bunch of movies from 1983 and Return of the Jedi, you'd be like, well, the hairstyles make sense, but other than that, Return of the Jedi is its own thing out of time. And I kind of feel that way about the prequels too, of like you can revisit them and there's some technological things that are, well, yep, that's from 2005. A George Bush reference, that's from 2005. But the movies feel kind of timeless, and I think that gives them an extra power when you revisit them, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do feel like I've missed out because I didn't watch I hear everyone talking about the originals before the special editions and all the changes that Lucas made. And for me, I'm like, I'm none the wiser. I don't know. I don't know what that is. I don't know what.
That's amazing. Well, they exist. We could get them to you. We could figure it out. I do think it's fun to watch and compare. But yeah. It's I don't know. I don't want to wait in that debate.
The merch I want. The merch I want.
Yes.
Because I love collecting records is I want the new
Oh.
Revenge of the Sith album. That I want.
Yes.
Oh,
So
yes.
that's on my wish.
There you go. Perfect. Julie, thanks for calling in and
Yeah, thank
sharing
you
this
so
wonderful
much.
story.
Yeah.
Oh, we really appreciate that. And thanks
Yeah, really
and thank
beautiful.
you. Yeah, thank you so much for being here in ForceCenter, Julie.
Okay, bye.
But all right. I guess Alex and Molly do good things, Joseph. They recommended one person. No, I'm
Man,
kidding.
it is so great to just hear everybody's journey is unique, and we
Yeah.
try to be aware of generational things, but it's such a great reminder of like everybody's path is different and how they love things and why and when they love things is that's so great that it
Yeah.
can be so unique.
Yeah, and it's why I just get downright defensive or even grouchy out in public when I just, especially when that Gen X generation starts bashing things, and it's like you are literally just you're pulling the bridge back from other people to enjoy this with you from their own way, and it will forever be something that's key to our Force Center conversations is all generations.
Yeah.
And we certainly react to different things and different, I think it's fascinating that Alden's first exposure to Star Wars in the theater is the Clone Wars movie. Like that little generation of Star Wars fans needs to be studied too.
Yes, and man, I'm thinking of Kylo's line about I want to be free of this pain. I think it's kind of a blessing for somebody to be free of like special edition baggage of like, there was always a Ronto. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've buried the past. I've killed the past.
Absolutely. Let's see. We got Mike Fink in chat. Our buddy Mike Fink. My mom suggested I give my collection, kept in a Vader case, away to a young neighbor when I was a teenager. My collection now is pretty sparse, but as long as I have an R2-D2, I am good. But Mike, think about that kid's story. That he's like, suddenly one day, a bunch of Star Wars figures showed up in a Vader case. I bet he's on a podcast somewhere telling that story today. And you made that happen. But R2's a great good luck charm.
Yeah, I love how much R2 is popping up as people's like one. This is my lodestone that I need for Star Wars is R2-D2. My wife is like that. She loves R2, and every once in a while she'll pick up a figure or a merch. She got a plate at Disneyland, and she'll go to R2. I think there's something about how reliable and charming he is, that he's a good presence in people's lives.
Absolutely. R2's he's the guy. Gaz Nottingham says I recently acquired Poncho Lou from 1985 and EV99 last 17. Always wanted to do those back in the day and found them at a collector's convention recently. It's not a cheap hobby. Yeah, but when you find that one thing, right?
No. Yep. My dad offered to run to the store for me right in the mid to late 80s when that last 17 was out, and I gave him my list, and he was trying so hard to understand my list, but he didn't know what a stormtrooper Luke with helmet. He's like, what the hell are you talking about, kid? And I think he maybe got me the Death Star Gunner, which is great. He's like, they didn't. I don't think they had that helmet. I looked for a helmet guy. I didn't see one called a helmet guy. So I got this one that had gun in the title. And then I went back the next week and they had him, but I had no money. And it's haunted me. It's haunted me. I never got him. I haven't. He's so expensive. Man.
Yeah. I imagine, I'd like to imagine a conversation with your dad in the store with like an employee. Like, he's like, it's got a helmet on or something. I don't get the one with gun. Your kid will like the one with gun in it. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you we talk about rewards and everything, like, I didn't have to my sister was buying different toys when we go to the toy store there, but like I know you and your brother get a shop together kind of moment where I know you guys had different figure likes or anything, but like was there a race to get to the wall figures first? Because I had that in college with my best friend. We would often fight over figures. We go to Toys R Us and race to the wall first. 18, 19 years of age.
I don't remember us ever being like, we both want a figure, the same figure, because, as people have been talking about, another one of the great memories is like all the books that came out early, the picture books that I still have my originals of. came out early, and that's my brother stayed late at school and the book fair and got Return of the Jedi and read like the first half of the book, and then like I, paid a quarter and got like the school nurse to help him call me from the school because I wasn't at school that day for some reason, and just like, so Luke Skywalker is a Jedi Knight and Han does get freed from the carbonite, and like and he's like, and I stopped reading halfway through because I don't want to know everything that happens. Like so by the time we were shopping for action figures, we often knew who we were hunting for. Yeah, and that story I've told a million times, where we lived in a smaller city, which is now a much bigger city, St. Cloud, which is about an hour out from Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and we would go down there on the weekends. And I asked my brother, if the Return of the Jedi figures are out, who do you want? And he's like, Good Morning Guard, but they won't be out. They just, and then they were, and that's when I got my Luke Jedi Knight and all that. But like, he didn't even want Han. Like, we'd already seen him in the Sears catalog or whatever. But I was like, I want Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight. He's like, I want that pig guy.
I want the pig guy. The pig guy. Poncho Mike asks, did you ever hide figures in the back or in another rack so you can come back for it later? I did, but it wasn't Star Wars figures. It was the mid-90s WWF wrestling figures. And that's what me and my friend Joel would fight over. I grabbed, if Joel would have called in today, he'll get angry about the day he grabbed an Owen Hart off the wall and I took it from his hands without thinking. Like I was reaching for the wall at the same time that he did. And I just was like, yeah. And he's like, hey, I had it. But we used to go hide and come back when we had money. It didn't always work.
Yeah. No, I did that for Power of the Force too. In particular, I remember I had a temp job shrink wrapping knives. And so I remember my fingers were cut because that's not an easy job to shrink wrap knives. And I went to Toys R Us, and the Power of the Force 2 line, a bunch of great, they haven't made them before, came out at the same time, including Leia in the bikini. And there was only one, and I realized like, I don't have money. I need to go to the ATM. And I hid Leia somewhere far away, like not even the action figure aisle. Like,
that's smart.
Like, behind a horse head on a stick, like old school 20th century toy.
That's
somewhere
smart.
far, far away. Went to the ATM and then picked her up.
That's the way to do it. That is the way to do it. We are here for about another 45 minutes. We got another call lined up here. If you want to call in and you're a Patreon supporter, the link is live. Rich Rodriguez says, favorite, almost impossible, probably my Star Wars poster I traveled with for 2 decades and got signed by 100 folks. Highlights include Harrison Ford, Carrie, Mark, George Lucas, Frank Oz, Billy D. Williams, etc. The stories that travel. Wow, Rich, that belongs in the Lucas Museum of Narrative Art, baby. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Billy D. or John, which Williams?
That's maybe, true.
Or maybe both.
Oh, yeah.
Williams is
maybe both.
Yeah.
Williams is.
That's a good one to hold on to, both for the memory, I'm sure, of collecting all those. Like, wow.
Yeah, that deserves. I mean, I still got my Phantom Menace teaser poster. I have that. What would you do? I'll ask you, Joseph. Like, it's rolled up, it's crinkled. I could display it, but it's not in the best of shape. But should I try to preserve it? Should I get a frame for it?
Yes.
Or should I just rolled up in my garage?
You should
look at it
unroll that. And there are poster companies you can find who put things in acrylic so it can be like flattened out, and it will not only look cool as a poster, but it'll look like something that Indiana Jones found.
Okay, I'll do that. I have the receipt for it on the wall too. I have the $15 I paid from Star Wars Insider in 1999. All right, and Rich clarifies Johnny Williams, TV composer, Johnny Williams. Yeah. All right. We got a couple comments. And we got another call lined up here with Jared. I think that's Jared the Type Pilot. I've never seen him call in from this location. He's
it's a different angle, I think, on his computer. It's hard to recognize him.
Yeah. We got this Thorley and Colson says, I have a TARDIS, but I stuck Jango Fett inside it and placed it next to a Galactus figurine. The crossing of the streams.
Yeah, no, and man, you got some Doctor Who earlier this year. You're getting a Galactus in a couple weeks. This is a big day for your action figure display.
Absolutely. All right. We call him Jared the TIE Pilot. He calls himself that too. He's also in the band Concept of a Plan. If you're up in the Boston area and want some punk rock in your life, Jared, how you doing, buddy?
Not too bad. How you guys doing? Sorry, I don't have my usual audio setup, I'm in my bed feeling very lazy today.
That's fair. That's fair. I just, normally when you call in to either hear the blathering, it's a background with knives and swords and magic wands or whatever you got there. And
There we go. There's the weapons.
There it is.
Okay, I got a big question, and people in chat are asking. You have often called in without a shirt on. You're feeling lazy today, and yet you have a shirt on. Are you a
Yes.
Lazaro, Jared the pilot? Oh, it's a bathrobe.
It's a bathrobe. Laser Wolf
Great
says
reveal.
Jared won't wear a shirt, but he will wear a bed.
Yes, very much laser.
Yeah.
Well,
Nice.
Jared, share your merch memories for Star Wars.
One of my favorite merch memories was just in between Force Awakens and Last Jedi when I got my first lightsaber that I ever bought myself, like one of the nice ones. And I got in the Hasbro Kylo Ren lightsaber.
Yeah.
$200 lightsaber at the time. Got it in the mail and whatnot. Bought it for my 30th birthday and whatnot 10 years ago. God, I'm getting old quick. But yeah.
Nah.
You're fine.
No, that started a small escapade of had none. Now I've got almost 10.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, how do you decide which ones to get? Is it based on the character, the lightsaber design?
A little bit of both. So one's from the action. I've got one like Ultra Saber, just one of those like generic ones you can customize yourself. Then I've got New Hope Luke, Jedi Luke, and half of Darth Maul's original one.
Oh, nice.
So it's usually a combination of I like that one, and hey, I found it on Facebook Market for not $1 million.
Right.
Okay, fair enough. For the Maul's half one, is it like designed to be a half? Is it like severed where Obi-Wan cut it?
It's the old Hasbro one, so you could screw in the two halves.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Yeah. That's great.
Cool.
That's great. Yeah, I'm afraid of I got the one I built at Disneyland, but I'm afraid to start the collection because I'll just get Obi-Wan. Oh, but man, I would like Leia's. Oh no,
I'm one of those guys where I don't do I don't want to call it cheap collecting, but I don't do the Funko Pops or simple things like that. It's like no. Here's my $1,000 of lightsabers. Here's my screen accurate TIE Pilot helmet.
Right.
I got from an old friend who was in the 501st. So
amazing.
But to go to I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I just think about the lightsabers too. I have the cheap ones, and I still got my 1995 Luke one I hear and all that stuff. But a friend of the show, Billy Patterson's working with a guy named Doug, launching a new YouTube channel called Doug Defends. The first episode's about Revenge of the Sith, where Doug's an actual lawyer and he's going to defend Anakin for his actions in Revenge of the Sith. It's going to be interesting. But I was helping him with set up the studio, and the guy Doug has a massive lightsaber collection, and we were moving them, and Billy and our friend Ryan were hanging them on another wall, and I was kind of grabbing them, because it's lightsabers, and you can't help but want to play, but these are really expensive things. I felt so nervous collecting those. Jared, have you got any horror stories? Have you broken them? What do you do?
Oh yeah, no. So the one that I bought from Ultra Saber is one of those battle hardened ones. So it's seen some action, and I've cracked a couple of those blades, but those are easy replaced, cheap and whatnot. My New Hope Luke one was twirling it around one day and clipped the bleeping tip off. I thought I was unblathering still. Clipped the tip off. And I didn't know that, but there's a whole thin line on inside and foam that goes in.
Oh, yeah.
It I had to shove it all back in, super glue the top back on. That one just stays on the wall now because I don't want to spin it again.
That's amazing. That's great. I just wondered. It's expensive. I'm right. I'm a cheap collector. You can throw my Funko Pops around, but yeah, I'm afraid of the expensive stuff. But anyways, I cut you off. You were going to share your.
Yeah, I respect the poster with multiple signatures on it.
Rich man.
I have something similar where one of my comic book prized possessions is a blank cover of a Spider-Man #1, not the original one, but like one of the remake Spider-Man #1s. And I have almost 30 signatures on it myself, including Stan Lee, Todd McFarlane, George Romero Jr., some of those big Spider guys. So it's like, oh,
Yeah.
always been meaning to start the Star Wars one, but
Yeah,
that's expensive to get Star Wars signatures.
These days, yeah.
I saw a picture going online of a recent con appearance that Mark Hamill did. He was getting $400 for every 8x10 he signed.
it's a big business. It's and nothing against those who are collecting on it. It is what it is. But yeah, it's there's a reason the con circuit is as powerful as it is.
Yeah, it's a big business, and even like a sweetheart like Mark Hamill will get the pressure to not upset the economy. Like,
Yes.
Mark Hamill's
Yes.
got to be top dollar, because if
Yep.
it will ruin the economy of the signatures. Because if they
Yep.
go
the
from
thing.
Mark Hamill to like guy who was in Land of the Lost in the 70s, and like, hey, no. If Mark Hamill's charging less than guy who was in Land of the Lost, it ruins everything.
Yep. But I'll sign anything, Jared, for the price of a drink. So that's all it is for me.
Yep,
Not-
just a good old White
Yep.
Claws these days.
Whatever you get. I'll put it in my hand. No, I cut you off earlier. You going to share your merch story though, too, of your favorite merch?
No, that was I was going to do the comic book one.
Got it.
Yeah,
but
that's
but that's my thing. I do remember though. I don't know if you guys did a little bit over the top too. The first Force Friday after Disney bought.
Oh, yeah.
Like I for some reason I felt the need, like, we weren't going to get Star Wars anymore if we didn't go out on that Friday to purchase whatever I found in the store. I got, and basically all we had left was like Micro Machine starships and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I was at Dragon Con and then going on tour, so I didn't get to do that much, and I went wild on Last Jedi. I still have 2 boxes of macaroni and cheese, one with Ray on them and BB-8, and like,
yes,
I have had them like in the queue, like next to the garbage for a long time, and then I eventually put them on a display shelf because, like, sure. But that's part of what I love about the merch is there's the stuff that's like, that's invaluable. That's part of history. That poster that's collecting all those human signatures, like, that's a part of history, right? That's important, right? The prototypes of Boba Fett with the actual firing jetpack, that's a part of history.
Yeah.
The macaroni and cheese box with the deadly food in it is like, it's absurd, and I kind of love that too.
No, nothing will beat the fact that they put BB-8 on a bag of oranges.
It's the best. I mean, the synergy on it. Come on.
I found a picture. I was looking for the thumbnail. I was going through some old pictures, and I looked at the Last Jedi merch explosion, and I found a picture. I don't think I actually bought it. Is a bag of actual house salad with just badass Luke Skywalker just striding across the lettuce with his mechanical hand out, and just like, it's like one of the coolest pictures of Luke I've seen. But he's like on a bag of lettuce. Like,
eat your salad, or this will happen to you, kids.
Eat your greens. Well, I'm glad you brought up that first Force Friday in the Disney era, because talk about nostalgia. I think that's where I really wanted to recreate what I felt like in 1999 when I was up at Toys R Us in Porter Ranch waiting for the figures. Right? It wasn't about the toys. It was like I want to go back to that time. And yeah, there was a weird panic of I've got to consume in a way all this Star Wars, because kids, it will go away. They'll be the early 90s again. You'll get some books, and that's about it, and some Bendems. So there was a little bit of that feeling. But also I want to I blame or credit Jedi Alliance because up until that show in 2014, I had a box of my Star Wars figures. My Kenner collection had long been sold, but I had a box that over the years, I'd picked up on, including stuff in the early 2010s. But it was that every week we're going to go live, and the style at the time was, if you're doing a pop culture show, you have 30,000 figures in front of you or whatever it is, and you fill up your broadcast table with that. So I felt pressure. I had to go out and buy more. And that's why, got to invite that Joseph guy on. He's going to bring his own figures. And that's where my collection quadrupled, was that first year or two, and that Force Friday is part of that.
One question between, I know Jennifer's not here right now,
Mhm.
but out of the three of you, who do you think has the most or the coolest one little collectible item out of the three of you? Like, what's the one that all three of you always go, that's a cool piece you got there? Anything in particular? Because doesn't Jennifer have like life-size Ewoks or something?
Jennifer has a life-size Ewok.
I have a life-size Ewok where if I have to move, bad news for Jennifer, it might go to her house. I don't know. I mean, it might be a case of a lesson in envy, where or not envy, just like admiration, but that like I'm gonna look at something Joseph has and be like, ooh, like that original Yoda. Ooh, I wish I had that. He's gonna look at Jen. Jen's gonna look at me. It's gonna be just this. We all enjoy what we have, but we always see what the other people. Not in like a jealous way, but just like, ooh, that's cool. Like I don't have that.
Yeah, I think the most emotional I've ever got about merch that Ken or Jennifer has, like the Ewok was great because it was just like so funny. And for a long time when we recorded the way Ken had it in his other apartment, before this one, it was right over Ken's head, like in the background, but like just a little out of focus. And so it was like this Ewok was always judging whatever Ken said. And I wish we were on video at the times where everybody could experience it. Like, great point, Ken, but the Ewok doesn't agree. Is the way I felt all the time. But Ken and I went to, and we've talked about this before, we went to that solo event for their partnership with Denny's.
Yeah.
And they gave us those ridiculous solo Denny's menus. And it's one of my prized possessions. I should have brought that one out there. I have it in display in my bedroom. It's got the unique, items that they put on the recipes on the menu, but it's ridiculous, utterly ridiculous. And Ken got rid of his. And that's the only thing that's ever bothered me. Is like, dude, I would have taken that. So I had two. I have one. I'm jealous of. I wanted another. Yeah.
God, you're so right. That's a reminder. Anytime I get even selling things, I should ask you and Jen. But you know what it speaks to, Joseph? A little bit we were talking about earlier about attachment and possession and what is forbid in the collecting world of Star Wars. I could only get rid of it if I took a deep breath, closed my eyes, and said, now, throw it away now. And I ran out and I tossed it. It wasn't much of a thought. It was like, just do it now. Just do it now. Otherwise, you'll never do it.
It's understandable. It's understandable. And I think it is powerful to be able to let go. Yes.
But next time.
News for you, though, Joseph. Quick Google search. Denny's restaurant solo guide, eBay, $25.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
All right.
But hey, here's one for 15. All right. Okay. Somebody probably fished it out of the trash. It's probably your garbage person.
It's probably
making $15 off of it.
Look at this guy threw away the Star Wars stuff. It's got to be worth something.
I think,
but I think that is. Never find is the Therm Scissor Punch card.
I have two of those.
Yeah. I have one of those somewhere. Yes. No, I do have that.
I think it was just weird enough, and I think there are those things like that go on because they're dumb in just the right way that go on to be like treasured. That I think I kind of always have a part of my soul looking out for like what's so dumb that it might be treasured down the line.
Yeah, absolutely. And the menu, but the menu also had a lot of pain attached to it because I've never had a sugar coma hit me that fast when we all had those pancakes from Star Wars.
Yeah, those reactor pancakes. I think core
we were all like,
nasty.
Jared, thanks for the calls and the thought starters, and thanks for sharing as always.
Yeah, and stay in your bed, relax.
Stay in your bed, buddy.
I think I'm gonna. It's one of those Fridays. Well, you guys stay safe. Get your pants off soon.
There you go. Share the time. My pants might already be up. Let's see. We got Ken Plume. Plume, check your email too. I sent you a link if you want to. It seems like an episode I want to.
Yeah, call in, Ken.
Call in. We're here for about a half hour more. We'll go some comments. Plume has another super chat. We'll get to that here in a second. Catching up to some of the comments here. Svetnik. Ethan says, favorite merch memory, building my own lightsaber. I bought a replica Graph-Flex flash tube. You have to read that slow. And made it Luke Saber. I had added all the electronics to give light, sound, motion, effects, etc. That's
really cool. I thought the beginning of this, I thought it was going to be about making one at Disney, which is a really cool experience. It's expensive to get to Disneyland, Disney World, and make one of those lightsabers. That must be extra cool to have built it yourself, like Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Ethan, did you like sit down in your backyard and just like cross leg and just kind of make a saber with droids looking at you? Yeah. Love that
That's
there.
great. We got some other memories piled up here, don't we? Hey, I want to share this one from Gas Nottingham. One of my earliest beloved Star Wars products as a kid, besides my action figures, was a rainbow book and cassette story. I had the trilogy plus Planet of the Hoojibs, where you hear R2-D2, then turn the page. It is just slightly out of reach. It's going to be a favorite memory now. There's a record store in Minneapolis that sadly is closing this weekend forever, and I got so many records there. But I got the vinyl version of Empire Strikes Back. That's the story, and you play it, and then it makes R2 sound, and you turn the page. Did you have those as a kid, Ken?
I did, and somewhere, same thing. I have it out of reach. I think over time, I don't know where maybe I don't have them anymore. But a friend of the show and a longtime friend of mine, Chris Kiefer, Carbon Swap, who calls in every now and then. Met him years ago in stand-up and everything. We've been pals for a long time. He, for my birthday, got me a recreation of the Return of the Jedi one. As the flip book and everything like that. And it's like that's a fun prize possession too. Because I don't know where my originals are.
That one's fantastic. Douglas says, I feel slightly better about the idea of calling from bed on a hungover Saturday morning from bed now.
Do it, Douglas. Do it.
Do it. Do it.
Do it. Do it. Do it. YT Fun says, my favorite, the old school trash compactor, complete with ripped up foam to squish. Send the TIE fighter with the wing that falls off. Oh, the send-in answers, the TIE fighter with wing falls off. So much fun. Wish I'd kept them. Yeah, that trash compactor comes in with the little Dianoga, right? That's one of the best, you want to see what the Dianoga looks like. It's that set.
And those little foam pieces. Yeah, no, the from my youth, there's many things that haunt me. But the AT-AT, I'm Gen X, I'll call it an AT-AT. But in the Death Star, I've done comedy bits about this, storytelling bits about this, of just begging for the Death Star and being told that my grandma was the only one in our family who had any kind of real money. So if we wanted something more like that, we would kind of wait all year and bug grandma. And I think we were trying to explain to my grandma, my chain smoking Vegas going grandma, what a Death Star was. My mom pulled us aside. It's like, even your grandma and Santa Claus put together cannot afford the Death Star. It was pitched to me as truly, deeply impossible.
Love that. Absolutely love that. There's nothing you could do to get it there. We got Andrew saying, Joseph saying, getting action figures is a joyful thing, completely flies in the face of witnessing every attempt Hasbro's made to recreate Oscar Isaac's handsome face. That's one of my favorite things is he's one of the world's greatest looking humans, and we're starting to get better.
Every one of them looks like somebody made a beautiful sculpture of Oscar Isaac out of butter and left it in the sun for just a second, and it's like it's almost, but no.
Well, I'll tell you too. The one of the best versions is the Fortnite. They got the Fortnite Poe Dameron. It looks like him. It's
in action figure form.
No, just in skin form. You can play as Poe Dameron in Fortnite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. Someday I do want to buy the Resistance ski speeder from Last Jedi because it comes with Poe. He's got the great jacket with the little patch of the Rebel symbol.
Rebel. All right, waiting for some more calls to come in. Phone lines are open, as they say. If anyone wants to call on in, some more comments as well. Coming our way here. Amaranth says, it's why I set strict limits on what I collect. Only VC, vintage collection, or equivalent figures of characters in the middle age. Keeps me from buying everything that catches my eye. Yeah, you sir, are pretty good disciplining yourself in this way, at least from my vantage point.
Yeah.
You have what you collect. You don't swing wild. You go,
Yeah, I stick mostly with Obi-Wan. There are a few troopers that I really like or didn't have as a kid. I had a little bit of a slip here recently where there's get all Kenobis, but should I get every figure that is carded from the Obi-Wan Kenobi television show? So there's a clone trooper I'm looking at, and they got me with all the Cantina business that's going on. They got me because I was like,
yeah, right.
The Vintage Collection put out Dr. Evazan, and like I got Dr. Evazan from Power of the Force, but on a vintage card, I know, and they put a Walrus Man to go with them. That's how they get you, is when there's like, oh, I'm only going to get this, but it's tied to something else. You're like, yeah. So, but yeah. I'm doing pretty good. I'm really trying to cut back.
Love that.
Yeah.
Well, Nick has this. This just now we can use this as a reference all the time. That's Death Star money, kid. There you go. All right. He promised to call in hungover from bed. He is in the future. It's Saturday morning where he is at. Douglas Dubois is here. Douglas, thanks for calling in, my friend.
Good morning. Challenge accepted.
You're here. How bad's the hangover, and did you earn it?
I did earn it. It was a friend's farewell party. She's going back to the UK on Thursday, and we got carried away. You know how that happens.
What was the drink of choice? What's your drink of choice, Douglas?
We went to a pub that actually has a really cool Han Solo and Carbonite thing on the wall.
Nice.
But they have like a range of different craft beers, and I probably tried, let's say, 4 or 5 different ones. Some of them more than once. Yeah.
I understand.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Earned. But hey, share your favorite merch, Star Wars merch memories.
Gosh, look, honestly, I think I said it in the chat earlier. My mother will never own up to the fact that my old Kenner collection disappeared one day, but she knows it was her.
She knows what she did.
But honestly, probably favorite experience was introducing my son to Star Wars when he turned 4. I think his birthday's like a month before Christmas. By Christmas time, he had like a couple of lightsabers and his first like Lego set. And then, just using it as an excuse to buy all the cool Lego sets that were coming out around that time. There's so many cool ones. The AT-AT was probably my favorite one that I bought for him. You could pose it in all sorts of cool sort of situations. You make it look like a dog eating out of a bowl, drinking out of a bowl. That's definitely, I think, my favorite excuse to be a child again.
Yeah. Is your kid still into it?
He is. Yeah, 100%. And my subsequent daughter is also into it. We're very much a Star Wars household. Got a Darth Vader helmet signed by David Prowse that I got for my 40th that sits right in the middle of our lounge room underneath the TV.
Yeah.
There's Star Wars stuff all over the house.
Now, how did you roll out the Star Wars to your son? He's the first out of the gate for this. Did you sit him down, explain it to him, or did you just put stuff in front of him, see what happened? Did you leave? Were you worried about what he would do?
There wasn't a lot of science to it, honestly. My wife and I were like, "Do you think he's old enough yet?" And sort of both looked at each other, nodded, and went, "Okay, cool. Let's put him down and watch the films from sort of theatrical release order." And he took to it. Initially, Revenge of the Sith, I think, had a few moments where he was like, I don't really want to watch the bit where Grievous gets his chest cavity exposed. And but other than that, he just took to it so quickly. And then we sort of went on a camping holiday in summer for Christmas, because obviously it's summer down here. And, he got to stay up late enough until the sun went down, and then we got out the lightsabers and we're having lightsaber fights in the campground, and he fell in love with it. Yeah,
that's great. Does he have a favorite then, kind of without any of the sort of the bias of the times they were released or that kind of thing?
In terms of favorite film?
Favorite film or favorite character or any of that?
Like he's probably a little bit influenced by us, maybe, but I think he's an Empire guy. Definitely Empire Strikes Back.
It all comes back to Empire. Yeah.
I know.
I do think there's things that kids respond to. I think Yoda is really powerful to kids. I don't know if you had that experience with your children, but
Plo Koon is his favorite Jedi. I will say that. So maybe he's a Filoni guy. Who knows?
Yes, he's a Filoni kid waiting to happen.
He walks across the camera with the hat on, the cowboy hat on.
Yeah, but he was my introduction to the Clone Wars because I think I saw a DVD just on sale in a store at one point. Can't even remember which one it was or which episodes were on it, but he was like, "Oh, can we get that?" And I'm like, "Well, of course we get Star Wars, isn't it?" So that was kind of my end to watching the Clone Wars, which now obviously I love.
That's beautiful. Well, Douglas, wonderful stories, wonderful family, and take it slow today, okay?
Yeah, drink a lot of water and buy some Star Wars merch.
I'm definitely not mowing the lawn. It's a wet winter's day, so I've got all the excuses to sit in bed and maybe play some Battlefront 2.
There you go.
Nice.
That's what it is. Thank you, Douglas, for calling in.
Take care, guys.
Douglas, check it in there. We got Ronald lined up here soon, calling in. We are discussing our favorite Star Wars merch memories. So if you have one, get on in here, either with a comment in chat or a call. I do have confirmation, Joseph. Our buddy Ken Plume is fixing his hair, putting on his makeup, and he's going to be calling in soon.
All right. It's time to light the lights, Ken Plume.
But what? Ronald's going to call in here. I think. This is Ronald. So Ronald, if you're ready, I think you're ready there. But I'm going to bring you Ronald in here. But here was Ronald's comment I'd set aside.
Ooh.
My favorite is buying 2 of my first figures 2 years ago, then quickly dozen more to create a diorama in my classroom the kids just stare at. Ronald, let's bring you in here and tell us more about this diorama. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, can you hear me?
We can. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah, so I only had one action figure from Return of the Jedi. I forget the guy's name. He talks with Mon Mothma, and it was old, but that was precious and it was lost. But I recently bought the Black Series, and I bought one, kind of liked it. I bought a couple more, then I bought Cassian Andor, and then before I knew it, I printed out backgrounds of Tatooine and put it in my, clear glass case, for precious things in the classroom. And I have the lights coming up from the top, that you place in there. And whenever I turn the lights on, you'd see this sort of epic battle with Boba Fett, and the kids just all through class would just look at it and just want them. And it was because I get excited when they get excited. So I would take them out sometimes. And at the end of the year, I thought it'd be fun if they did a project and you could just, make a stop motion movie by taking the fight scenes, and they went buck wild with it. And then they didn't want to give them back, and they didn't want they broke a lightsaber. And then one of them said every day in the morning, "Am I going to get Darth Vader today? Am I going to get Darth Vader?" And yesterday was the last day of school, and I gave him Darth Vader.
Oh, nice.
That's so great. We've been talking a lot all through the show about kind of what the merch means, and just that direct here, it's a vehicle toward creativity is really cool.
Oh yeah. I mean, I made the movie. They did voiceovers. They're shooting. They're not that great at close-ups, like soft focus. They're not there yet. But I would supervise them, like, okay, what you want Thrawn interrogating Luke. If that's a story, you have to have a story for this. So let's have Thrawn interrogating Luke. All right.
About what? Yeah.
What is Luke looking like? His hands behind his back. He's in binder. Okay, I'll fix that in Photoshop. Make it happen. Time is money. And it was like fun to be the director, because I've made documentaries and went to film school. So this is like my way of sort of getting back at them and criticizing them. You're fired. Next one. You're not.
Your inner Rick McCallum is coming out.
And I put super glued magnets to the bottom of the feet, and I put a magnetic board on the bottom, so they could really go wild with and it was a lot of fun. And I found it overnight photoshopping those shots they made during the day.
That's amazing. Yeah. But you're a Hall of Fame teacher, man. You're going to be talked about for decades of these lives of these students.
Yes. Well, I have to keep buying more.
Yes.
What a tragedy. So at this point, when you're buying them, do you consider that you're buying it for yourself, or is it like you're buying it for the kids?
It's a good question. I'm buying it for the kids, but I'm looking at the best things that I want because I showed them scenes of Andor, and they love it. They love Andor. it's kind of R-rated, so I keep it, to a minimum. But like this is about the book we're doing about refugees. These are people that are trying to leave Gorman, and this is the scene about that. And
wow.
And they're just locked into the scene of Tony Gilroy's music and everything.
Yeah.
I want Andor. I want Andor. I want Andor. And so it's really, it's like using a carrot, really.
Yeah.
Follow it. So, it's a lot of fun to buy them now for that, because I have a reason to spend the money. It's not like, I have to. So I rationalized giving that one kid to Darth Vader, who every day would ask me in the morning, I'm going to get Darth Vader today.
Can I get Darth Vader? Can I get Darth Vader?
Darth Vader?
Hey, Teach, can I get Darth Vader?
Right.
Love that.
Made progress in the things I gave it to him every day.
There you go.
It's like, I want one. And, it's definitely worth it. And it's a good reason to buy them, because I like them.
Yeah. No, I've been thinking about that with his last couple of calls of people, buying, for students, for kids. Like sometimes I see a figure and like, I don't need it. But is there anybody else who does? Because I just want to buy it.
Yeah.
Like Ken's trying to cut down. So every once in a while I see a figure like Ken might like that. Like I shouldn't give anything.
It shouldn't hurt him. Maybe I still got room. I can get one. Right. Ronald, I appreciate you. We appreciate you calling in here. We appreciate you being here. But I love this story, man. You gotta, if you're in the Discord at all, you gotta share some pictures of your dioramas.
Oh, I got the whole movie. It's 4 minutes. It's called The Adventures of Han Solo and Mandalorian.
Please share that. Post that away in the Discord.
It's so funny because I make them do the voices. And
that's hilarious. That's great. Thank you, Ronald, for calling in and sharing your story.
Fabulous.
Yep.
All right.
I love that the kids like Andor. I want them to be like screaming for Cyril Karn. Where's our Cyril Karn Black series?
More political speeches in Star Wars. More political speeches in Star Wars. Yeah, absolutely. All right, we got about 10 minutes left in the show. We got some comments to get to as well, including, Dr. Professor's right, a Hall of Fame teacher. I love this comment here from Sergeant Fubar. What's discipline? I collect Black Series, vintage collection, retro, Lego. Someone send help. I'm suffocating. Yeah, that's discipline.
You're not alone. You're not alone, Sergeant.
You're not alone. But we had a super chat from this fellow, Ken Plume, the absolute last piece of merch you'd part with. So I figure let's discuss that with our good friend right here, right now, Mr. Ken Plume. How are you doing, buddy?
You're not supposed to throw my questions back at me. That's very awkward. And
so,
think of how many historic interviews would be better if Nixon had said to Frost. I want you to answer that one.
I pay not to be asked the questions that I ask.
Well, this is one of the easier questions you've asked, because you try to ask us. You try to get us. You try to trick us up. Yeah, but I mean, you have a lot of merch to choose from, as people can see behind you. In Star Wars world, is there one that is like head above the rest, close to your heart?
Instant answer to that right now would probably be a Jabba.
A Jabba.
Yeah, you love Jabba.
Maybe the original Kenner Jabba.
Yeah.
Or Max Rebo. Or Max Rebo.
Yeah. And that original job is pretty flawless. Like, I mean, I know that there have been some fancy ones, but there's not a lot wrong with it. Like,
it's a super good. The only thing that you could tweak is the eyes a little bit to make it a little bit more accurate to the film. But as far as the sculpt, and it has an action feature. I mean, it's got everything you'd want.
It's got the little mouth hole for the hookah. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the sculpt is so good. If you just put a wash on it, it would look like a modern figure.
Yeah.
That's really the only thing keeping it from being a modern figure.
Have you done instructional videos on how to wash a figure properly? I think that would do well.
Local comic shop in Wilmington, Memory Lane, shout out to them, just asked me to do a workshop for doing dead simple washes on figures to customize figures, which I did week before last for them.
Now, is wash just like, I know you've like taken some of the Fantastic Four figures and like made them with the more correct blue to the comics and things like that. Is that a paint or is that a wash?
That's paint. So
what's a wash?
A wash is paint that is thinned with water. So it's like it makes it super loose, so it's not going to It's basically going to bring out the highlights in a figure. So
Okay.
the Hu Yang, this is the only one that's close. That
Oh yeah, the
I
Hu
have
Yang's
for
like one of the
watching.
only modern figures that drives me mad because his color is deeply inaccurate.
So bad.
In the vintage.
All I did
Yeah.
was they sell chrome pens,
Okay.
and I chrome penned it up, and then I did a wash on it, and then use Sharpie to bring out the details. And this
Yeah.
is what the Hu Yang looks like after that.
The Hu Yang is so insulting because the image on the card is correct, and the figure is just like deeply incorrect in its color.
My understanding is they went with the Clone Wars coloration, which is more of that weird tannish
Yeah.
cream
Well, then they should
color
have used
sort of
the
look.
image from the Clone Wars
Yeah.
on the card.
Come on, Filoni. Come
Well-
on, Dave.
To be fair to Hasbro,
Come on, Mr.
They-
Hasbro.
they do have to put these out into production like a year and a half out. So
Okay, so
they're
that's the
getting
answer.
preliminary art. They're getting. That's why a lot of stuff
okay.
doesn't look quite right.
I apologize
Sometimes,
to Mr. and
yeah.
Ms. Hasbro. All right.
So that's yes. Washes are a fun
Mm.
thing to do.
Yeah.
I did it also for the. Why am I forgetting her name now? The Shin Hati figure,
Oh,
which is
yeah.
also the Black Series one was lacking a wash of any kind
Her hair or
for her hair.
okay.
So basically, she looks sort of like what is the singer that wears the bob wig, the blonde bob
Lady
wig?
Gaga does at times. Sia is the one you're
Sia.
thinking of.
That figure looks very much like Sia.
Did
Without
not expect
any
a Sia
alteration.
reference today here at ForceCenter. We
Sia Hottie.
So yeah. So the wash thing, yes, but yeah. But speaking of Jabba's, sorry, I had to assemble quick show and tell items because I was asked to.
yeah. Yeah.
So here is a Jabba the Hutt
Nice.
Pepsi bottle topper from
Oh.
Japan.
Ooh.
They came out with an entire line of soda bottle toppers,
Mm.
like dozens
Yes.
of figures, and they have a Jabba. Well, they have two Jabbas. The other one has a tail extended, which is like the deluxe box set
compare.
Jabba. I do not have.
We'll compare.
I don't have any Jabbas in reach. So here's Vampira, the natural companion to two Jabbas.
Well, yours is probably still in the box, but mine is not.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, both of mine are still in the box. I haven't opened them yet. That's fantastic.
Be
Because
careful
I got
not to
two, 'cause
lose
I'm taking
those
one of them.
sticks.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
I know it's gonna be real delicate, so I got two of them, and I'm only taking one out of the package.
But it is a beautiful figure, and I can't wait to put him in that cantina that we both are getting.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else do we have?
How
of
big is that
cantina,
cantina?
Life
big.
breaking,
Okay.
life changing. I have to
don't even-
move. I
You got
have
to push
well,
a
yeah.
couple of
I-
push a couple of tables together.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't mean to
Accommodate it.
put you on the spot, Joseph, but have you didn't open up the Razor Crest, right?
I opened the Razor Crest to take the action figures out, but I never put the Razor Crest together.
Yeah. You got no room. Yeah.
I mean, the cantina was made to be modular, so you can set up a
This is
scene
true.
on a
I get-
shelf.
This is true. I can set up just one part of it, which is probably what I'll do. But it
So
was
they
my
didn't
promise to
know,
myself
or you
to
can
change
swap it
my
out.
life.
You curate each month. You have a new scene in the cantina.
Hmm.
You set
I'm
it
gonna
up with.
need to get more figures out of the package though, because you're gonna look. My package figures are gonna look weird sitting in the cantina, so I'll need
Well,
to work on that.
speaking of one of the newest ones,
Oh, look at that.
Oh, look at him! I mean, is he supposed to be seated? Because it.
Yeah,
it
well-
looks
well-
like he's relieving himself.
well, I have him sitting on my desk.
Okay,
Oh,
fair enough.
And speaking of things you just grabbed, this is just the top of a deodorant,
Oh,
but
a little-
it looks
little
like
chair.
a little
See?
Star Wars bench.
I don't have that.
You're
Let's
being
see, what
asked
else
an
we-
important question from Jared. Is that Jester from Puppet Master behind you?
No, that is just a regular punch. That was a
Okay.
gift from Dana Snyder.
Aw.
That's amazing.
I think it was in reference to our relationship. Here's Palpatine holding a waffle.
Yep.
Now,
like you
okay.
do.
All right.
You know, as I mean, listen, everyone's got a breakfast, right?
Mhm.
Here's R.I.P. Diamond Select,
Oh,
and we'll see what happens with Gentle Giant through all of this.
yeah.
But
oh,
a
Life
collectible I
Joey is
never thought
lovely.
I'd see.
So yeah, you don't want to give up that one at all.
No.
Have you okay, to your own question, Plume, you haven't given up anything, right?
No, not willingly. No.
Yeah, okay.
I mean,
Not
speaking of-
willingly.
well, we
This
had
would
this
be-
we've had this conversation. I think on Force 5, we talked about my trauma with my own
Oh yes,
Kenner
yes, yes.
figures.
I was thinking of adult times. Has somebody taken anything from you in adult times?
Not that I know of.
Okay, good.
Wait, is there anything you want to tell me?
No. I do sneak into your home every once in a while and just rearrange
my-
your action.
Most of my stuff is open. You're not coming in.
I like them open too. I got all sorts of open over here. Look at that. I got my open Temple of Doom.
No, you made it
There
very
you go.
difficult for me for a bit after we recorded that, because I thought, he's right. They are beautiful works of art, this card art. Maybe I should leave them on package. And then it
Just buy
just became
two.
untenable
Yeah.
of the amount of space that takes up.
They do
You
take
know,
up a lot
no.
more space.
Yeah, this is
okay.
this is,
Eventually, we're going to answer your actual question, Ken. But Nick,
I did.
you did, and Ken and I
You
will
two
answer
didn't.
Knapsack and I will answer Plume's question. I feel like we're playing soccer when I use your last names. Knapsack, Plume. Let's talk about action figures.
Well,
and
Joseph,
then let's kick the other team's ass.
try when you finally get into Fortnite and you're yelling at one of the Kens you're playing with, it becomes a thing.
Stop looking at grass.
I'm gonna come up with nicknames for you. I'll be like,
I'm just
Wash
while you're
Ken
doing that.
and Denny's Ken.
While you're doing, I'm just going to cycle through things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that one's okay.
Retro.
Don't even with that one's a pain. I can't. I want that one.
It's understandable.
Yeah.
So-
Nick Argus
Yeah.
says, as a kid, I used to pretend any action figure still in the packaging was frozen in carbonite. I did that too. We saved our plastic. We opened them, but then we saved the plastic so we could pretend that they were in carbonite. I wanted to celebrate that. Ken, did you do that? Ken Knapsack?
No, knapsack. No, I did not. But I would talk to my stuffed animals and would say they were on vacation when I got rid of them. So I understand. I understand that thinking.
Yes.
As far as things that I would not part with, I mean, that magazine that I showed that has my name in it, like those kind of things from childhood. I'm staring across at some of my, original, the Star Wars novelization I got, the Empire novels, those things. I think it's those kind of things
where
that
you wrote your name like property of Kenny.
Property of Kenny.
Not one of those personalized books that someone would mail away from you, and it's like, and that's when Kenny ran away with the magical elf, and they lived in a happy place. This is the story.
I don't know what drug trip you're on, but no, that kind of stuff.
I think remember those books. I'm not the only one who remembers those personalized books that people could order.
Oh yeah, no, I actually my friend Brittany, her dad for one of my birthdays, like 5-6 years ago, made a personalized Star Wars book that has all that kind of stuff. Kenny was afraid of Emperor Palpatine. They read, absolutely
hilarious.
He died above the Death Star.
But yeah, that's the thing. Like everything else, like there's things I'm looking at in this room that I'm like, no, I'm gonna hold on to that. But I think once the seal kind of broke on me having to sell when I sold some of the Lego sets that I had never taken out of the box, but I wanted to one day, still have the Death Star one, and then it became a little easier to part with those kind of things, but only because I've purchased them and added them in the last 10 years. But I like Joseph's fire scenario. I might run back into my room here and get some equipment. Be damned! I got to grab this Star Wars magazine.
You taking that Mythos?
Yeah.
Obi-Wan.
No, I'll leave that for the firefighters.
Yeah.
It's good that you're thinking of them.
For me is the Yoda that I shared earlier, which is an easy answer because I mean I have all my Kenner figures and I have them back here now, and there's some other ones like Return of the Jedi, Jedi Knight Luke is up there, but when I lived in St. Cloud 83, 84 or 83 when Return of the Jedi came out, the summer that Return of the Jedi came out was an extra nasty tornado summer. So sirens would go off about every other day. You'd just be playing outside and the sky would turn sickly green and sirens would go off and you'd have to go to the basement. And so every day that summer, I would grab Yoda and Luke and take them down to the basement with me because I didn't want Luke and Yoda getting thrown into Oz or some bullshit from a tornado. And so like, there was it was a split level thing, and there was an apartment in the basement, but there was also like a little basically kind of ante room, a foyer in the basement, And this dude also always had, I've been drinking. This dude always had a different girl over. So it was this incredibly weird, like early 1980s memory where like I'd be playing outside, then after come in, I'd get Yoda and Luke. I go down to the basement, and some other lady in a towel would talk to me about my action figures, and I'd be like, "I've watched Three's Company. I think I know what's going on with the guy in the basement. He has lots of lady friends, and they all want to talk to me about my action figures." So it's not a fire,
farce.
but from a tornado. I have many times saved Yoda from a tornado.
Now, if you were to hear that siren go off again, would you have a visceral response and make a motion to grab the two of them?
I did, because when I was visiting Minneapolis, not one of these times recently, the siren went off while we were recording ForceCenter. And I was like, I don't want to stop and go to the basement. So I kept recording through the tornado.
He didn't tell Jennifer and I, and the episode ended, and he was like, "Oh, there was a tornado warning in the middle." Like that, yeah, you could have gone. Just saying, you could have gone.
I could have.
I hope the listeners understand how dedicated you are.
We've gone through earthquakes, tornadoes. Who knows? Who knows?
We're having a really good conversation. Some good points.
I've never thought of the not having lived with tornado warnings. That is a daily practice, and what do you want to take with you? That is traumatic, potentially.
Yeah, no, it was. But it's Yoda. He's been with me the longest. Yeah, I got it.
Well, I will, just because I grabbed all these things, I will cycle through a few more before I let you guys go.
Yeah, then we're out of here.
Just because this is a bunch of nonsense. I don't know why I picked this up. I kind of regret picking it up, but I did.
Oh yeah, life size. Is that a Vader helmet?
Just a straightforward Vader head.
It is the Darth Vader popcorn bucket.
Oh, and it breathes too.
Yep.
Oh, look at that.
You should be making munching sounds too. Heavy breathing and chowing down.
Well, what do you think about these popcorn buckets? Because they're not functional popcorn buckets. There's no way to clean these.
Nuclear annihilation under us while we chat about popcorn.
He's just gonna keep breathing. I'm gonna put him over here. And speaking of popcorn buckets and Jabba the Hutt,
I got the Jabba one too. Oh, I didn't get that one in the Menace. Phantom Menace. I just got the bucket.
Oh, yeah, that's like Jabba with work done. That's very smooth. Did they give that out at the Substance film?
This was Disney Parks exclusive.
Oh, okay. So
and it comes with a little Salacious Crumb.
Oh, Sally B.
On the strap.
Beautiful Sally B.
Yeah, little Sally B. Little Sally B. Beautiful. All right. Last one, Plume. Then we're out of here.
Last one? Well, then I'll share it with this.
Oh, nice.
Oh, is that the
Ronin?
Oh, the Ronin one.
It's droid and everything. Yeah. That's nice.
And the thing that just came today, we'll leave it with this. This was on the porch.
Oh, damn. Lovely.
As I got home.
Does he have his little IRAT friend?
He does. And it looks like a little piece of poo. It looks nothing like the little rat thing. And it is probably the tiniest accessory that has ever come with a Star Wars figure.
Even smaller than Babu Frick?
It is about slightly larger than the size of a piece of rice.
Wow.
If you can imagine trying to keep track of that.
Yeah, so we're going to need two vintage of him then. One without the IRAT sticking out. And we need swappable head, and then one with the IRAT.
Well, it'll have a little thing that you can push. The IRAT's permanently attached in there, but it's an action feature. So
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Little
we got a request for a last minute call in here, Ken. Where are you at with time? Do you need to go?
Look, McCarcel, detective. If you get in here, I'll take it. But my back is on fire, so I'll try to stand.
Well, Godspeed, you two. It's been a delight.
Thank you, Mr. Plum. I'll see you a little bit later.
Take it easy, Ken. Thank you for all your action figure friendship and help. Very appreciated.
We'll set up our cantina soon. Later.
See you on Fortnite. We'll get Joseph on there one day.
Take it easy, pal.
All right.
Bye.
Almost out of here. No, Detective McCartell, if you call in, we'll take your call. We're wrapping up. We got a couple comments to get to.
Yeah, Ken, if your back's hurting, stand up.
I'll try. It's then there we go. Now I'm leaning. Okay. We're working. One of those days. Harrison's here. Yes, yes, yes. Gaz had this comment. Still finishing my collection of Star Wars figures. 77 to 84 is complete. I have 5 left of the last 17 to find. Minty, loose, and complete. It's a nice hobby. I think I'll be sad when the hunt is over, though. Yeah, that's part of it, too, when you're collecting. You do reach the end eventually.
It is. I have given in on the need to pre-order, but man, do I love the hunt.
Yeah, absolutely. Alden is absolutely right. It's a sight to behold. All right, let me get the right. There we go. All right, here he is. He got in just in time. Detective McCarsel's here. I call him Detective McCarsel because I said that by accident one time, and it is stuck. He's not a detective. He's a great Star Wars fan. Here, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. Snuck away from the desk at work for just a few minutes to catch me in.
Love it.
Nice. You got a favorite merch story?
I got 3, but they're all quick. So 2 of them for just the experience of getting them. Last one's kind of just funny. One, I got the ARC 170 Lego set at Disney when I was a kid. I think I might have put that in a ForceCenter Q's thing way forever ago.
Sure.
My grandmother had given me money to get, all, souvenirs and stuff on the Disney trip. And that was the only thing I ended up buying. So bringing that giant box on the plane back was interesting.
That's also where our friend of the show, Daniel Falconer, who's out there in Wellington, New Zealand. He was out here and he had to transport the Jabba the Hutt from the HasLab, and he had to get that through LA. He had to buy a seat for it. It was a thing.
Strap it in and everything.
Yeah. What's your other one, Michael?
So the second one, I got Qui-Gon's lightsaber immediately after seeing the Phantom Menace. We left the theater and went to Walmart, and I got the lightsaber same day.
Is that the one you were looking for? Did you want Qui-Gon's in particular?
Yeah.
I don't know if. I think I would have probably at the time preferred Obi-Wan, but they didn't have that one. Maybe I don't know if they didn't make it for that line because I never saw it. I didn't see Obi-Wan's until Phantom Menace. Same basic lightsaber, but I don't think they made it for.
They did make it for Phantom Menace because it's one of my memories. Because I got the Qui-Gon in the mall and I did a comedy sketch with them and they kept breaking them, so I had to buy Qui-Gon's in malls again and again. Then a year later, in the year 2000, I stopped at a Kmart because I was buying the video game Perfect Dark for people who remember that, and they had Obi-Wan's lightsaber. So on the same day, I got Perfect Dark and Obi-Wan's lightsaber.
Maybe it was a later release then. I don't know. I remember the mall lightsaber got recalled, and my best friend at the time was very upset about that.
So did you play with it a lot? Were you the Star Wars kid spinning around with it?
Oh yeah, obsessed. I would have brought that to school if I could have.
That's amazing.
Nice.
That's amazing.
The last one, just for the absurdity of it. For the whole maybe minute and a half that it takes place on screen when Anakin's dual wielding in Attack of the Clones, they released an action figure where he had both lightsabers, but the right arm was removable via a small magnet on the elbow.
Yep.
It's one of my favorite niche action figures that exists in all of Star Wars.
It's beautiful. Yeah,
that's so good. I didn't collect the Attack of the Clones line as much because it was a time where I needed to cut back, and at the time I didn't like kind of how big and expansive they were, but I really like them now. I got this Obi-Wan right here of the expansive fighting.
Oh yeah,
the accolade. Yeah, so now
I didn't have that one.
I didn't know that Anakin's arm came off. Now I got to track that one down. So thank you for that.
It has the 2 rental lightsabers that they had for that scene.
It's amazing.
Yeah, these Jedi died. Just take them.
Just take them. Thank you, Michael, for sharing all that stuff. I appreciate it, and risking getting in trouble at work.
It's a rock climbing gym. It's pretty chill.
So someone could fall off the rocks. It's all right.
And you got your Qui-Gon lightsaber there, right?
Yeah. That's good. Thank you, Detective McCarsel. We appreciate you, buddy. Okay?
See you guys. Take care.
All right. We're almost out of here, like we said, but Amaranth has an important update. TSA has a listing for lightsabers and the things you can and can't take on a plane. They are a can. So, Joseph, you can travel with your lightsabers.
I will now all the time. Some perfect dark love in here. Very, very appreciative of that. N64 successor to GoldenEye? Yes. It was.
I never played it, but I think because I just packed up my Nintendo 64 and the games I had, I think I actually have a copy of that. Maybe I should fire it up.
You're not selling your N64, are you?
No, I'm no. But I'm Are you interested? So,
let's talk. Don't get rid of it. Yeah, because mine got stolen many years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I got GoldenEye. So if that ends up at your house, we're just gonna have to go play GoldenEye at your house.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Well, we're out of here, folks. Thank you for hanging out with us on this 2-hour plus live stream. We also release it later as an audio feed. So check out the podcast feed. Don't forget, on the podcast feed, Databank Brawl Redo is up there. We rebroadcast our old episodes of Databank Brawl, episodes right now with Ash Crossan, going back from a couple years ago. And we got, I think Matt Belknap returns to an episode. This is, I forgot we brought him back for like a second round, one of our great Databank guests. So check all that out. Don't forget, you can jump in the Discord if you are a Patreon supporter. Join at patreon.com/ForceCenter merch. Check out our Fourth Wall shop. New stuff has been added, included cups, pint glasses, hats, and more on the way. You can follow me at Ken Knapsack or my website, kennapsack.com. You, sir, you're back home from reshoots, but you are still making this movie.
July is going to be a big crunch on the post-productions. I mean, making all sorts of weird sounds in my house and working on the score with our old friend Tony Thaxton. And yes, you can find me on josephscrimshaw.com. Links to my blog, Finish Your Monsters. And if you are interested in helping out with the finances of the post-production, which are really difficult, there's a link on my website to contribute. A couple other things to wrap up here. Perfect Dark was the year 2000, if I recall. It says 8984M. Yep, that is correct. And something extremely important, Ken, a super chat from our friend Jared. Ken and Ken watch Deep Space Nine. It's so good. It's so good. It's one of those things. You know what, Ken? It's like the upper crust in the UK.
It's the upper crust.
I'll encourage you to do it, and then you'll be so in love.
You were
with
right
it.
about that. You were right about that.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good way to look at
DS9
it.
is the upper crust of television shows. You'll love it.
Also, Pancho Mike says, thanks, Getter Joseph and Kid. Thanks for trusting me with Hoth Han and Tauntaun and Luca Wampa. Yes, I sold those to Pancho Mike, and I love selling things to Force Center friends because I know that they will take care of them and love them as I did. Well, that's it for now. We'll see you. Jared says he'll never give up. He'll never give up. We'll see you next time here on Force Center.